So hello everybody and welcome to the Saudi Arabian Masters here in Riyadh season. We've got tonight's table with a master heavyweight clash between snooker's living legend Ronnie Sullivan and England's the man in form, the Shanghai Masters winner Kyren Wilson. It is the Rocket against the Warrior. It is the champion against the champion. We've got Sullivan producing one of the greatest comebacks of the tournament already, beating Shang Yu 6-5 to win 3 frames in a row to set up today's blockbuster quarterfinal against Wilson. Of course, this is the 6th time the players have met between each other, and 3 each has got a win. Of course, Sullivan being now 49, Kyren Wilson being 33 and winning the last 3 matches between the two of them, the Warrior will be very much the favourite here. But as we all know, Sullivan is the player that can produce a moment of magic and pure brilliance out of nothing. It will be the first frame, and it will be Kyren Wilson to get us underway here. So once again, it is Wilson's turn here. As we can see, of course, the early start in yesterday's matches, Wilson was off to a great flyer there, and O'Sullivan seemed to struggle to find his form, as now O'Sullivan leaves Kyren with a little bit of a long pot opportunity, which is missed by Kyren Wilson, but he did manage to bring the cue ball back into the bulk area, so no momentum lost there, and Ronnie hasn't really got a clear-cut chance. But as we know recently as well, of course, you have to bear in mind that O'Sullivan has been going for every single opportunity he's had at his disposal. Let's see if that tendency will continue today once more. As of course, he did try to do something with that, but in the end it's a really good safety and the cue ball is right on the cushion. Really good shot there from the Rocket. I think the number one aspect that you have to bear in mind for today's game will be the safety game, because Wilson will know that Sullivan will try and force himself into early chances, so the better Wilson performs from the start and during those safety battles, the more chances he will have. Of course, there he had a little bit of a chance there to go aggressive and potentially leave the white on the black cushion, but decided against it, and in the end a pretty good chance turned down, and now it's Sullivan's turn to try and respond. He goes for a chance to leave the cue ball on the black cushion and just brings one of the ball into play. So from this position you would feel like this is going to take a little bit of time for the players to get a clear-cut chance. But here Wilson decides to switch the run of play a little bit and potentially up the game pace, because that now forces O'Sullivan into trying to go back into the bulk area. As once again, a good safety is played there by Ronnie. I think recently there was a stat flying around that after beating Joe O'Connor and O'Sullivan not really having to play any safety at all, he had to play a lot of it in the Shang Yu match. And of course that was one of the reasons, in my view and many of the experts' view, why he was losing at the early start. But of course, when he has managed to find his form and find his scoring form, there was no one stopping him there. As once again, a little bit of a chance here for O'Sullivan, as Wilson hasn't done as well as he has in the last couple of shots, and now potentially leave O'Sullivan with something. But in the end, Rocky decides against it, and another really good safety there from O'Sullivan. So I'd say really promising start so far. Of course, I felt that both matches against O'Connor and Yu, he was trying to be too aggressive, too much on the front foot, and in the end, against O'Connor, it of course worked, but against Yu, it didn't, and left him in a really vulnerable position, having to win 5 of the last 6 frames and 4 of the last 5 as well. So really important here that O'Sullivan gets an early start for him, and of course so is Wilson. Remember, these two have already met this season in Shanghai, the tournament that Wilson has won in the end, and he has beaten O'Sullivan on his way to the title. 6-3 that match ended, with of course Rocket having a 2-0 lead, so Kyren knows how to get himself back in the match. As we can see, takes a little bit of time here, as he wants to make sure that he doesn't make any mistakes there, and goes for a little bit of a risky shot, but in the end cue ball just avoiding those jaws of the pocket, and Sullivan acknowledging that shot was really good in the end, making no damage, but also making sure that Wilson is not on the back foot, as you don't want to be against a player like O'Sullivan. So a little bit of opportunity here for a long pot potentially for O'Sullivan. Let's see if that's going to work out. No, it didn't. And is he going to leave anything on here for Kyren Wilson? Doesn't seem like it, and he has obviously played for the blue there. So making sure that if he did miss that chance, there was nothing that he was leaving at that time. So Wilson is lining up one of the shots. Not sure if that's a planned and get the cue ball out of danger. Yes, it is. Yeah, done brilliantly there. No mistake. But the red is coming towards the middle pocket, and could that be an issue for Wilson, or has he covered it with the brown? I need to see a better angle of that, but I think Ronnie can see it. And now he will be looking what color to play next. Is it going to be blue? Is it going to be pink? Because I don't think you can get to the black from this shot. Of course, if you are O'Sullivan, you can do anything you want. But let's see how this shot goes. And it goes the way of O'Sullivan. So the first point scored in this match. And it is scored by the Rocket. Let's see what's up next, as he did manage to get on the black. So a little bit of a tough cut that is. Needs of course to hold the cue ball really well, and he did. So a break of 8 make that 9, as Rocket is storming now onto his favourite area all around the black. Of course, the best player in the world in terms of snooker, but especially when you talk about his black pole position in play. Immaculate, some would say. Of course, he has been compared a lot of the times to the World Cup winner in 2025, Zhao Xingtun, the player that has idolised Ronnie O'Sullivan for a very long time and has a similar style of play to him. Can't compare the two just yet, but the style of Xingtun has certainly reminded everyone of what O'Sullivan can do. As he's once again in and around the black spot, trying to put the third black in a row now. A real good opportunity to, if not win the frame, but of course cement his chances of winning the first frame, as he's leading now by 24 points. Not a lot of issues so far on his way, and I think the couple of next shots are going to be pretty straightforward. And when we get to the cluster pack, I think of course O'Sullivan is the best player in that regard as well. When you talk about splitting, has struggled with it a little bit recently, but still remains one of the top players when it comes to anything to do with the cluster, but misses that shot. A little bit of a weird miss that is, of course, especially if you compare it to the profile of a player that O'Sullivan is. And it's the end of break here for Rocket. And it's Wilson's turn now to try and get anything of it. As you can see, just not enough there of cutting, and undercut a little bit. So 32 points score for O'Sullivan, 4 reds, 4 blacks. And it's Wilson's turn to try and respond. Hasn't got an easy start here, but really well done, and holds nicely for the black. So a start for the break now for the Warrior. Of course, Sullivan has only scored 32 points, which will be nowhere near enough in the professional matches like this, and at the stage of the match we're at. I think the only good thing about this break for Sullivan is that he probably will require Wilson to get the last red. That is a little bit further away from the pack, as you can see, closer to the green pocket. But I think with the chances and the points he can score now, Wilson could really put this frame to bed in one break if he can avoid any errors there. As we can see once again, playing for the black. No issues so far, which is something that O'Sullivan should have been doing, but missing that red has gone wrongly for him. Not enough angle, I would say, for these on these blacks, so it will be a little bit tougher for him to get back on the red. Might have to do this, yeah, with a lot of left hand side, but in the end, really good. And he's actually a little bit overdone it there, so surprisingly for me. So 16 points scored. Half of the deficit is already gone from Sullivan. Both players so far playing around the black spot. But this time, Wilson goes for the pink and not quite done enough there, so it will be a little bit of a problem to bring it back to the red. But nicely done there, as he decided to hold back for it and done everything right. So 23 points. Once again, a little bit overdone it, but I think you can deal with it in the circumstances that he had a struggle on the pink, as Sullivan has to wait patiently in his chair for his opportunity. Once more, Wilson checking the positions of the reds, because you would need all of them. I'm not quite sure if you would need the last one, but of course all of those that are in the cluster that are now above the pink, you will need every single one of them. And he hasn't played a great shot there, as he ends up on the blue into the yellow pocket. So 24 points scored, and could potentially be the end of a break unless he decides to go for that red closer to the green pocket, the lonely one in that part of the table. I'd say it's probably the only chance he's got, unless he's gonna try and push the cluster away. No, he doesn't, and that is the red that he goes for. So that is a hard shot with the rest. We've seen him a lot during the interviews that he was practicing those shots. Can he now put the practice to the real world? Important shot this, of course, because it eliminates the only real issue that Wilson should have in this break, as long as he avoids any other errors. And nicely done there. So 30 points scored, and he's really nicely on the blue there. I think he's got the angle to try and potentially go into the reds without hitting the cushion first, which of course allows him a lot more control over the cue ball. Let's see if that will work out. A really good pot there, but no luck for Wilson. That is really unlucky from the Warrior. And 35 points scored, and it looks like it will be the end of break for Kyren as well. As you can see, I'm not sure if that's touching ball. The referee will have a look at it, of course. But he's done everything right, but he almost got it too well, I think. He's gone into the red, and instead of pushing it to the side, he's gone full ball. In the end, one of the red pushes the other red, and the cue ball just gets stuck in the bunch of them. So yeah, it is a touching ball there, and he'll have to play away there, Kyren Wilson. So end of break there for the Warrior. 35 points in comparison to the break from Sullivan with 32 points. And now it is once again a safety battle between the two players. Sullivan has got a little temptation there, left to the left corner. I'm not too sure that he would want to go for it, depending on, of course, if you bear in mind the position, but he looks to be lining it up, whether it's for the safety. But I have to say, from what I'm seeing here, I think it's an attack. No, it's not. It's a safety there. I'd say it's a really wise shot there, because you're not really going to get a pot and a guarantee yourself a really good black there, unless you're risking of leaving Kyren an easy end to the frame. He's gone for the double, Kyren Wilson, and he caught the jaw. A little bit unlucky, but in the end, the ball runs safe. So nothing doing there in the end. Wilson doing everything right. As you can see, he had a chance there. He was unlucky with the way that jaw was caught, but in the end, the ball has run safe. Sullivan, though, lining this one to the yellow pocket, and he hasn't run safe at the end of it, because Sullivan has pulled an absolute screamer out of the bag and has spotted a brilliant ball there to start another break, which surely you would feel, if he gets anything out of this cluster, will be the last break of this frame. As he goes into the cluster straight away, and I don't think he's got any luck. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to be some sort of safety. No, he hasn't. He's gone for a cut and he's missed it. So it's an absolute waste there from Sullivan in my view, because he had no reason to go for that red unless he was absolutely convinced that he was going to pot it. And in the end, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be a straightforward end of frame for Kyren Wilson. And something that could prove to be really costly, as where does that cue ball go? It goes behind the blue once more, so not ideal, but not bad. Because I want to end the break for Rocket. And switch back to Kyren. So he has spotted one of those blues before, and once again, you'll have to do that. I think the easier part of this shot is that he has got a pretty simple red to the right middle pocket. So I don't think he'll struggle to get on the end of it, but putting that blue only just there, he wobbled in the jaws, but he has gone in, and now Kyren is spoiled for choice as he has got 3 reds that he can pot. As I said, I would expect a pretty straightforward end to this first frame. Another good pot there from Wilson as he's in around the black now. Would like a little angle to push himself onto that middle pocket red, as he needs to screw back, made that shot a little bit harder, but in the end executed brilliantly from Wilson. So of course he's already 9 points ahead, so he would only need 3 of those reds and he would win this match. Well, 3 reds and 3 colors. So basically when he gets to the yellow, the match should already be won by then. The frame, I should say, not the match. You don't win the match by winning just the first frame. He's on the pink now. Yeah, does everything well, Kyren Wilson, not rushing things, and he knows he's up against the person that can deliver at any time, but he's also capable of producing errors that you wouldn't expect from the player of his quality. Of course, that's exactly what Sullivan done, missing a red, which in my view you should have never gone for, into that middle pocket. As Wilson now is only 3 pots away from winning the opening frame. The blue, a red and a color is all he needs. The blue is gone, and it's now just the red and the color. If it's going to be a yellow or the green, he'll still need the yellow, but should be straightforward from the position that he's in right now. He decided to screw back, and he's done it absolutely perfectly there. No questions asked. A ball that would put him 27 ahead with 27 on the table, so he still technically needs a yellow, but it'll be a formality from here as he's got the brown, 27 ahead, 27 on the table, just the yellow remaining. And the yellow is in the pocket, so the first frame does go the way of Kyren Wilson. Ronnie O'Sullivan has to pay for that costly mistake earlier in the frame when he's gone for the shot into the middle pocket after running out of position, and Wilson's got him in this opening frame. Could potentially get a break of 59 here, Kyren Wilson, for a total clearance. And it is first blood to Wilson here, so Rocket would have to respond to the play of Wilson, as in the end it's not a total clearance, and it's the end of break on 41 here, so foul for O'Sullivan as he gets 5 points. But that won't change anything here, as the first frame is awarded to Kyren Wilson. Yeah, so not a lot to say about the first opening frame here. I thought it was the chance for O'Sullivan because he was the first person to have a chance in that frame. Of course, he missed one of the easier balls, then Wilson stepped in, had his chance, scored about 30 points once more, and then, so go for a safety, so he didn't miss a ball himself, he just ran out of position. Sullivan slips to the table once more, and he can't convert the opportunity that he's had, and in the end, it is a pretty straightforward clear out for Wilson, who claims the opening frame, and is leading by 1 frame to love. Another thing that I'm absolutely must mention is, of course, the head-to-head between them is 5-6 in favor of Sullivan, but Wilson has won the 3 last meetings between the two of them. Of course, the latest one coming in Shanghai Masters, which Wilson ended up winning after beating O'Sullivan in the progress in the quarterfinal, and in the end having a brilliant final with Ali Carter and claiming the title by 11 frames to 9. So the man in form is very much Kyren Wilson, and he also claims the opening frame. I'd say O'Sullivan now is either going to get himself back in this match by winning a frame or two and then just playing his game, so playing really openly and trying to do something that he's best at, the break building. If he gets a break of 50 on the board, if he gets another 60, 70, a century potentially, he just has to make sure that Wilson hasn't got the table time that he's had already in his first frame. Because O'Sullivan had that chance, well, he had two, to be fair, which each of them you would expect O'Sullivan to finish the job in, but he didn't in either of them. And every single time, he didn't just play a safety and, got away with it. He's gone for the shot that, well, the first one, it was a straightforward one, so you would expect him to go for that shot. In the second one was just, I think it was just pure frustration. He knew that he had to, from the black ball, there wasn't any red ball to land on, so he knew he had to go into the cluster, split the reds up, and hope that he'll land on one. He landed on one, but he landed on one really badly, and he didn't leave himself with sort of anywhere to go but play a safety in my eyes. But he decided to go for a cut that for me was never there, in the end leaving Wilson on with a really good chance. And in the chance, there wasn't any problem for Wilson in that break, in the last break. There were a couple in the first. Had to play a rest shot, had to play a couple of blues in the green pocket, but there wasn't really any issues for Wilson. And in the second one was just a straightforward clearance. Right now, so the second frame is underway, and once more Rocket goes for the long pot, a long pot that he gets away this time around, as the cue ball wobbled in the jaws and stays around the black area. So it was a safety there that he played, clearly understanding that if he misses it, he'll get away with it with 90% of chance. But once more, I do have to question if he has got that ball in and he has potted it, what does he get from it? Because he's nowhere near on the black, and that cut is, even for the player like O'Sullivan, it's pretty impossible to do. And of course, if you miss it once more, that is probably a second frame gone, the way the first one has. So now it's time for Wilson to respond as he goes for, I thought, an attempt for a double, but he didn't in the end, as he just leaves the cue ball on the black cushion. So once more, I think Wilson will exploit that impatience of O'Sullivan. I really, really do. And I also think that this match could go either way. I probably would doubt that he'd go the one way of O'Sullivan, because Wilson has been consistent, and I feel like if O'Sullivan is going to be on the breaks, Wilson will just be able to just frustrate him a little bit and get on his nerves, as he's done right now, so forcing Ronnie to play the game he doesn't really want to play, the safety game. And of course the safety that Wilson has been so good at the time he's won his World Championship and at the Shanghai Masters as well. Not just being clinical and really having some good pots, but also knowing when to take those pots on and when to just skip it for a couple of shots and leave himself with a much better opportunity. Yeah, nothing going on at this stage of the frame, as the players are just rolling onto the bunch and rolling back out of it onto the black cushion. So we're just waiting till one of them gets a chance, as Wilson tries to split up the couple of them. And this time he lands perfectly on the black cushion. That is important at this stage, because that leaves O'Sullivan with no opportunity to be doing anything, nothing really, in terms of the backspin, because he just can't reach it. So I've got the first chat in, but I'm not sure what it says, mate. So It's not really the language I possess, not the three that I know, so apologies, but can't script that. You're gonna have to let me know what that means, man. Wilson, though, is really not giving this opportunity away to Sullivan, and I do think that this will be just a matter of time until Sullivan tries to go for a pot that isn't there and gives away a chance for Wilson that the latter one will take. Bro, live stream link, please. I wish I could. I really do, but it's YouTube, so I don't think it will allow me, and it's on TNT Sports 3, so you're more than welcome to watch that one. But I can't really present a broadcast as I do not earn the rights to it. So far, though, really good match, and I say the match that should have been played in this way, and it certainly has been. Of course, from O'Sullivan's way, he's done everything right. I should say from Wilson's way, O'Sullivan hasn't done everything right, made 2 mistakes already, and it's only been frame 1, hasn't made any in the second frame. And so it's Wilson that goes for the pot that wasn't really there, so surprise there, because I did expect Ronnie to be the first one. But Kyren blinks first as he, well, sort of loses patience, I'd say, because it's not really the ball that you would go for, especially from being really high on the cushion. So let's see what Ronnie will respond with. He responds with a really good pot there, so it was actually harder than the one he missed in the first frame. So good for him to get that one in. And he's now perfectly on the brown. Yeah, a really good pot on the brown there as well. So now what you will do, O'Sullivan, is try and do something with those 2 reds on the bulk area cushion as he pots the first one. Once again, so the position is not that bad. Need live once more. It's a shame that, but I can't really show you the live stream. Hi there. So, don't own the rights to the broadcast. If you get it sorted with TNT, I'm all for it. But until then, I just have to watch it from my screen, and then you just have to watch it from whatever screen you find. Anyone where I can get a live stream. So the live stream, once again, it's on TNT Sports 3. If you haven't got the subscription, you'll have to find another one. O'Sullivan here, finding all the balls. He's on a break of 11 here as he eliminates the first 2. And he's now on the yellow. So a deep screw back there. Make that break of 13. Because he sized being 4 reds, 4 blacks in the opening frame, after which one he missed a quite straightforward red. So you'll be looking to extend that break. Any Telegram link for the stream? I hope that's not directed to me. If anyone in the chat got it, I ain't gonna say nothing about it, but I can't give you one because I haven't got a Telegram link. If I did, I probably still wouldn't give you, but I hope that's to one of the chat people. 21, as O'Sullivan is back around the black spot. So, what I like about O'Sullivan in this current break is he's not really rushing things, and he's taking his time really well. So he's on the break of 22 here. And he's now on the pink. So I do have to say it will be really important for me, from his perspective, to win this frame in one sitting, basically, in one chance. In one visit to the table, as he misses that one a little bit. So the ball does drop, but I have to say, and he knew it straight away because he was up way too quickly. And he had a concerning look on his face. He knew that he should have not been anywhere near the cushion, but still survives that time. And he's still on the break of 29, on the black now. Playing around the pink and the black, which I think, I have to say, with the blue out of position, he has done really well so far. 36 now, so he updates his highest break of the match. Doesn't land perfectly on this red to the middle, but still should do the damage here. There you go. Really good pot, and he's on the black. And I feel from this angle it is perfect for him to try and separate the cluster away from each other. Of course, the first time he's tried to do that in the first frame hasn't worked out well for him, and in the end he's ended up giving the frame away. This time though, he got it well. I'm not sure if the pink is covering the one to the middle, but he's got a better option to the middle. So this time it has worked for him brilliantly, as he's got a break of 44, and it should be, well, don't want to say cruise, but he should be finishing his frame off now. Of course, he has got a little bit of a safety margin there with 2 reds on the cushion. He's got a little bit of a tough pink here, as he's got a little bit of distance between the two of them, but straight in the heart of the pocket it goes. 51 now. So first half century break, I'm pretty sure from either player, because yeah, Wilson has got 41 in the opening frame. Of course, missing the blue. Well, he didn't miss the blue, he potted the blue, but the cue ball went with it, so that didn't count. 52 here, 58. So Sullivan picking the pace up. I can't really keep up with the scoring, but I'd say it's good. I'd say it's good because that is a sign that he is finding his groove, he's finding the momentum, he's confident with himself, he's doing exactly what he's doing best. And now I think from this position, barring the 2 reds at the top right part of the screen, he should be with a good chance of a century break. But time will tell if that will actually happen. 65 now, so first he needs to get a frame ball out of the way, which he brilliantly did. So it's 1 frame all, and O'Sullivan seems to be back on the race here. Back in the race and back on the horse. Yep, really good screw back off the black once again. So many times, and every single interview he's done in this tournament that I've seen, he has been saying, if I cue well, I'll do well. And this frame, he certainly has cued well. And we can see here a good average shot time for him, 16 seconds. That would have been influenced massively that he's of course had to, he was doing most of those shots on the break, so that is why it is significantly lower than the Wilson's time, but still, O'Sullivan is known for being the first and the fastest player when it comes to the average shot time. So really good. What can be the max break for the frame? Canish Cotley. So for this frame, it can be 88 because O'Sullivan missed it. So he got the black, he tried to cannon the reds, and then he missed one of the reds. So 88 was the highest he could manage. Of course, if you bear in mind that there was 43 points still on the table with 2 more reds. So 88 plus 43 make that 131. So could have had a really nice break, didn't. So break ended there, as you can see. And it's 1 frame all. It's much better, I have to say. I was really worried that Wilson is just going to run away with it. But as we've seen on the second frame, he hasn't. And one chance that Wilson has given away, of course, there was an early long pot that O'Sullivan has attempted, missed it. Landed really well though on the black cushion, so didn't give anything away. And it has paid some dividends in the end, as he forced Wilson in the end after, I'd say, I don't know, 10 shots each on the safety when they were playing around the black area. He has forced Wilson into a mistake, and in the end, does the job well. O'Sullivan does what he does best, break building. One time he's in the table, doesn't need a second chance. Clinical, really good snooker. In the end, missing the red, that didn't matter at all. Just for the century, a little bit of exhibition. Any good long pot in the frame? So, Kanish once again, Collie. Not really. I think O'Sullivan attempted to. Of course, he attempted 1 in the first frame. And then he attempted 1 in the second frame with the first shot of the second frame. And he missed both of them. So I'm pretty sure it's 0 out of 2 for O'Sullivan. I'm pretty sure that Wilson didn't really have any at all. So, yeah, it should be 0 out of 2. And for Wilson, it's 0 out of 0. So haven't had any of those yet. Reminder that this is the 3rd quarter-final. I'll have a look how the 4th one is going with, of course, we've already got to first 2 semi-finalists with Elliot Slessor and Neil Robertson. Elliot Slessor, by the way, if anyone watched that match against Mark Williams, I haven't. I've seen the highlights. It's really, really good from Elliot. The man in form, and Wilson... Robertson, I should say, beating Selby and Carter 6-4 each. So, pretty good performance from Neil. I say it's been steady. I don't think he's produced anything brilliant in either of those matches, at least that I've seen. And the last one, of course, is coming, well, alongside us. It is Ronnie O'Sullivan and Kyren Wilson on this table, and on the second one it is Barry Hawkins against Chris Wakelin. Chris Wakelin, remember, he has defeated Zhao Xingtong, the world champion, 5-3. I remember I was checking when Wakelin was 5-3 down. The odds were 104 for Xingtong to win that match, and he still lost it. So fair play to Chris Wakelin, the man. I say the most underrated player on tour right now. I have to say it. You know, you could talk about Xingtong, but everyone knew the power that he had. You could talk about the players of Kyren Wilson that never gets the praise that he should get. But I say Chris Wakelin. I mean, the tournaments that he gone really far in. I'm pretty sure he got really far in the UK Championship. It might have been English Open, to be fair. As we get the third frame started here, Sullivan with a really nice start, as Wilson once again has to start off with a little bit of getting out of trouble. But yeah, Wakelin against Hawkins. I'm not sure what the score is right now, but I'm pretty sure with what I'm seeing from Wakelin, it has to be a breeze for him. I know Barry's a good player and he's a consistent player. Well, he's not a consistent player. He's a good player, but he's not a consistent player. Because right now it is 1-0 to Wakelin. Yeah, I would expect him to win that match, I have to say. Fair play to Barry if he does it, but nah. And Wakelin against O'Sullivan or Wilson, it will be a cracker of a semi-final. I mean, I'm definitely doing that one. I've got no clue when the broadcast is going to start, but I'm definitely doing the watch-along for that one, of course, because Wakelin against O'Sullivan is going to be so good to watch, man. Like, it's going to be one dimension of a player against another, because Wakelin doesn't mind playing aggressive, but he's also so good at his safety game. Let's see here. Was it Mark Callender he lost to Chris Wakelin in the World Championship? I think that match was when he was like 10-3 down or something. Let me have a look. Who did he lose to? It might have been someone. No, it was Zhao Xingtong, wasn't it? No, it was Mark Allen actually. Yeah, it was Mark Allen. He lost to Zhao Xingtong in the end, 13-5, and he was winning against Mark Allen. That match, by the way, it was one of the most underrated matches, as Sullivan gets 4 points on his board. So switch to player 4 to O'Sullivan. So it's a foul here, and he'll have a ball in hand. So not sure if you can do anything with it from here. No, he puts Wilson back here, so logical move there. We can see once more here that the black is out of position. So any sort of attempt for the pot has to be justified, as O'Sullivan has a little hit on the table, acknowledging that it was a good shot from Wilson. We'll see. Just a reminder, if you don't know, on the scoreboard, red means the player is not active, green means the player is active. I'm not going to be changing it every single time, but when the person is on a break, you'll see the current break changing, and you also see the frame, the background, the name, label, stuff like that, all being to green. So it's set to active, and then the red one means the player is not active. Well, the player that will be active right now for me is going to be Kyren Wilson, because O'Sullivan has had a shocker of a safety attempt, and he's left the red ball hanging over the pocket. The problem is you can't play for the black here, and you can't play for the pink unless it's going to be to the middle, which is risky. So it's going to be for the blue for me, but not with the pace. So he has played for the pink. I think he's done it well, but I'm surprised with that short selection. I mean, I suppose he wasn't leaving anything on for Ronnie in either way. But that time, yeah, really good shot there. Especially with the queuing. Now needs another good shot, as those pinks to the middle are not easy. It's really easy to catch the back jaw, especially when you play with power. Played it well, but easy on a red here. That's what I'm looking at. So the pin goes back on his spot, no problem there. But I do wonder if he has got a straightforward red. So he's got a red to the middle, to the right middle, and he's got a red into the right pocket. I'm not too sure which one he's going to pick. So he chooses the one to the corner pocket, and it's in the pocket. So really nicely done there from Wilson, especially if you look at the angle on the blue. It's perfectly on the blue there. So very much in it now for Kyren Wilson. And Ronnie making it easy for him as he left that ball hanging. It could have been easier for the first spot for Wilson, especially. I reckon Ronnie could have had this frame, as by the way, Wakelin just made it 2-0. So As I said, I would expect it to be a stroll. I wouldn't expect it to be a 6-0 whitewash, but I think 6-2, 6-3 is the logical scoreline in favour of Wakeling. Let's have a look actually who was the favourite before the match. I'm quite interested. I always like to have a look at the odds. Barry was the favourite. You don't know ball, man. How was Barry the favourite after the form that Wakeling has shown? Barry, he's beaten some players, but then like he'll beat Sullivan that he has in one of the tournaments recently, and then he'll lose to someone like, I don't know, O'Donnell. I don't know, how was he the favourite before this match, man? I don't know. Anyway, let's see now as Wilson is still on the break. On the 14, and he goes for the black here, so not quite as straightforward as he would have hoped for. Of course, if he does spot it, puts the black on his spot, and he could be playing around the black, makes his life easier. But for that, he will have to find a really good pot and then a good angle on the red, as he has found a pot here with 21 points on the break. Has he got an angle on the red? And he can't really force it there, because that increases the chances of missing that red. He's going to be screwing back here, so attention here. Yeah, I did think about it. Like, he left himself with a do or die move. If it works out, he's brilliant. He's won the frame. But if it doesn't work out, he leaves O'Sullivan potential chance here. So 21, and it's the end of break here for O'Sullivan, for Wilson, I should say. And it's O'Sullivan stepping to the table now and steps brilliantly there with a brilliant long pot into the yellow pocket. Talk about long pots, Kanishk. I mean, there you go. 1 out of 3 for O'Sullivan. You could say 1 out of 1 for Wilson, but I'm not even sure those stats would cover that, because that was literally hanging over the pocket. I suppose you still have to count it, but if I was doing the stat, I wouldn't, because I have to say I would have potted that. Even off the cushion, anyone would have potted that. Now Sullivan on the table, looking to make Wilson pay for his mistake, but he has got a little bit of a tough start here. There's O'Sullivan. Red is on the, what do you call it? He's on the cushion, but O'Sullivan deals with it nicely. Angle on the black once more. So split incoming, and split incoming indeed. And boy, did he hit that well. Brilliant from Ronnie. 20 points on the board, already pretty much equaling with the break that Wilson has managed. And have a look at this. He could not have split those balls any better. Once again, in his groove, potting the red there. And I've got an itchy eye. It's a bit of a problem. Ouch. Didn't get better. Once again, in and around the black. 28 points with 24 on the break. So 3 reds, 3 blacks. Sullivan now, yeah, I'd say this should be a win for this frame really early on. I know, the commentator's curse. But for the player like O'Sullivan, it has to be another one of those stupid unforced errors from him. Which so far we've seen 2 of in the first frame. We haven't seen any in the frame number 2. So good stuff so far recently from Ronnie. Hopefully you can keep it up. As you now got 33 points, 33 on a break. 2 more pots and you'll equal the highest break from Wilson. Highest from O'Sullivan being 88 in the last frame. So doing the damage to Wilson in one visit, as he's got now a break of 41. So equaling Kyren's best break in the match. Yeah, I have to say those 3-4 reds he's got should really be at end of frame there. If he pots all of them, should be enough points there. So he's 31 ahead. Yeah, there should be a stroll there. Should be a stroll. I reckon he'll need 3 more reds. I reckon, yeah, 3 more reds will be enough for him. 3 more reds, 3 more colours, and that will do the damage. Well, I have to say, I am buzzing. Of course, I am, by the way, if you don't know, I am Ronnie O'Sullivan fan. So I want very much him to win. Since 2014, I've watched him. And the first match that I've seen him, funnily enough, was the loss. I think it was the only loss in the final of the World Championship final to Selby. But I have, even then, me being like, what, 10 at that time? Yeah, 10 at that time. I was still looking at Selby and I was like, mate, you're boring the crap out of me there. So Sullivan, of course, with his rocket style of play, has really liked him ever since. And then, yeah, a little bit sad last season when he wasn't playing any of it and he was saying, not enjoying the game, don't want to be in the game. And I did feel after that loss to Zhao Xingtong in the World Championship semi-final, he was going to quit. He didn't. That's a good part. And the better part is he's finding his form here. So once again, 3 reds on the table, 2 reds now, as Sullivan dispatches one of them. And it's frame 1 here, in frame number 3. So 77 points already for O'Sullivan, 21 for Wilson. Only 43 on the table, and the gap being 56, 63 now. And O'Sullivan is spotting the blacks as I'm speaking. Doing everything right here. And playing wonderful, I have to say. I think he has put those 2 mistakes behind him and had a perfect reaction. Break of 80 here, so really should be a century. But the bad news is he is playing on the red and yellow, so that is not a lot of points, as we can see the miss from Wilson on the screen. Well, we can see Kamesh, if you're watching this on TNT and you're still finding a dodgy link from Telegram. I don't know if you are. So 84 break here for O'Sullivan. He tries to get the blue out of the way so he can get a century. Leaves himself with a... So the blue is in, but he leaves himself with a little bit of a tougher shot on the yellow. Of course, needs the yellow to make it a straightforward clearance. Yep, the yellow is in. How's the green positioning? Should be alright as well. As we can see, 1, 2 cushions. And it lands absolutely perfectly, inch perfect on the green with a little bit of an angle. Should be a century break here, as we all love to see from Ronnie. 93 currently, so he needs 94, I should say. I don't know where I missed one of the columns. Anyway, 98, and the blue for the century here for Ronnie O'Sullivan. In fashion and in style, he's done it. 103 here, century break for Ronnie O'Sullivan, as he had put all the struggles behind him and he's got himself back ahead here at the quarterfinal at Saudi Arabian Masters. A total clearance here, and if he puts the black, and he does indeed. 116 break in the end. Brilliant from Rocket. Done everything right. Wilson had his chance earlier on. Missed the red, which I think he put himself in a tough position in the first place. Then O'Sullivan with a brilliant long pot. Kamish enjoyed that one. If he's still interested, any long pots in the frames? Well, there were 2 in there. As O'Sullivan had one in the yellow pocket, and in the end, doing everything right, finishing the frame off with a century, 116 points in the end, as his highest break now is almost 2.5 times more than the highest break of Kyren Wilson. And if you think about it, so far, what have we seen in the opening 3 frames? A reminder, after 4 frames, there will be a 15-minute break between the first 4 and the last and the later 4 frames. I'm not sure if they're going to do that again after 8 frames. I'm pretty sure they won't. But what we've seen in the first opening frames is O'Sullivan has got it in him, and he's certainly up for it, which is always a bit of a 50-50 before the game. Easy up for it, easy up for it. Well, I think the reason he's up for it is because he's playing against a man that is better than him currently, in the current form. Of course, not better overall. And that always is a motivation for Ronnie, because he doesn't like to be playing, the sort of Alan Taylors, the Zach Doherty, no disrespect to those players, but I think if he was playing one of them today, we wouldn't be seeing what we've seen today from Ronnie. So that's number 1 positive. And in the end, he's queuing really well. You have to say those 116 and 88 breaks. The one that he missed on the 88 break was absolutely meaningless. Like, there was just no reason for him to put a century. But even if he puts that red, he still has 1 more to deal with. So in the end, I understand why he wasn't thinking every single millimeter inch what he's going to do with that red. In the end, doing everything right, and in the third frame, I should say, just doing what he does best, and that's why people love him. I think that's why, I think at the end of the day, that's why he has got more followers than Selby. If Selby was playing that sort of a game, It's a different style for Ronnie, and that's why he's in it, and that's why he's a 7-time world champion. Let's have a look at how Wakeling's doing, as the frame hasn't updated for a while. So it's still leading by 2 frames to love. And let's see what his current score here. So Barry has got a frame back, as he's on a break of 86 here. And that break comes to an end actually. So that is 1 frame from Barry, 2 from Chris Wakeling, as both matches are now, yeah, as we can see on the screen here. I was just checking the site there to see the scores. But yeah, we'll see. And I think the thing about Barry is, when he's on it, by the way, no disrespect to Barry, I love him. I have to say, he's really, down to earth, humble player, and plays the aggressive way as well, which is a positive. But I just think he's so inconsistent, Barry. Like, I would have loved him to win. What was it, that final that he had recently? Like, was it against John Higgins? Yeah. When he lost Tour Championship, I would say. It was a semi-final against John Higgins when he was massively ahead, and in the end just couldn't hold to that lead. So a shame that, but we'll see what Wakeling and Barry can do. Here though, the players are back for the 4th frame, so the action is ready to resume. Kyren Wilson once more with a break-off shot. This time a lot better, I would say, as he leaves the cue ball right on the cushion there, so doing everything right. So done really well there with the opening shot. Sullivan once again has to walk to see the position of the rest, to see if he can get any cheap plants, or potentially get a safety that you wouldn't normally think about. He could go for a long pot, once again trying to leave the cue ball on the black cushion. He has got away with it in the 2nd frame. Let's see if he does it once again. He did. He missed it way too little there, and leaving the ball right in the jaws of the pocket. So I say he was doing the right thing, but he's got almost too close and he's hit it too well and missed it still. And have a look at this. Yeah, right in the jaws of the pocket. And you can see with the reaction from O'Sullivan. Yeah, just unhappy with himself there, knowing that he either has to go in or he has to stay out of the pocket. So early chance here from Wilson. Has to play it with a rest. But as I say, the red ball is all over the pocket, so it's all about where he's going to end up. And I have to say, from where that red was, he ended up not really in a nice spot there on the blue, but from the wrong angle. He has to play it from the ball cushion, which makes it a lot harder unless he goes to the pink, which he doesn't. So a blue here and a potential long travel from the ball cushion. Has to pot it as well, because it's not too far from the cushion, and with playing this a lot of pace, could go wrong. Didn't. Done everything right there. Well, we got him 6 points, 5 points. Yep, so he's on the red. Good start there, straightforward, but still not messing around, as now he's back around the black spot. So far, every single time, it wasn't players' brilliance pushing each other into mistakes. It was each of them having unforced errors, and in the end, the opposite player just had a break chance, as Wilson here tries to develop the reds. Does it really well, to be fair. 14 here, points scored. Of course, his highest being the opposite of that, 41. Nowhere near good enough if you play against someone like Ronnie or Sullivan. This match though, so far, has been quite fast to say. So, started around 5:45. We're now 37 minutes past. So, 45 minutes for 3 frames and a bit. I'd say that's not been bad. As Wilson once again, from the black, goes into the bunch of reds. Little development, but good enough. I think he'll take that. And he's got a couple of straightforward reds here to get himself, I'd say, potentially 50-point cushion. And then he'll start doing some magic. So he's got a couple of more reds. I'm not sure if he's going to try and go for the open ones or he's going to develop. Yeah, I think he goes for the wise option, the sensible option. Clear the ones that are easy to clear. Well, straightforward, not going to say easy, but straightforward for the professional to clear. And then you can have a look at what is lining up ahead of you. And then potentially, if you are going to develop, and, you know, ran out of position, at least do it at the point where you already have 50 or sort of points ahead of your opponent. So a little shake of the head there as I think the thing here for Wilson is he's going to have to, yes, screw back for the blue as he goes for the backspin. And that backspin wasn't nowhere near good enough from Wilson. Yeah, so I'd say a straightforward shot there. He got into that red way too hard. And the pink being in his way once again didn't help him. So 31 break here, 31 points scored, and he's just a safety. So a waste there from Wilson. Has to be doing better than that, especially in the position. He'll know it better than me. I mean, I can talk about him all I want, but he'll know better than me that from that position, it should have been the end of a frame. It was easily a frame-winning opportunity, and he didn't take his chances. But he has played a good safety there, to be fair, so he has put Sullivan into a little bit of a spot of bother here. Let's see what Rocket has got at his disposal. He's got a safety, so this time, thinks against going for the pot, because that has failed him twice already. As the frame number 4 in the other match has started. Wakeling here on a little bit of a break. No points scored in that match so far. So Wilson here, 31 points ahead. But around, how much is left here? I'd say a lot, 100. Yeah, 107. 107 is left here, as there will be less now, as Wilson has found a brilliant cut to the middle pocket. A thing of beauty there, so exactly what he needed. Why am I going points to Sullivan? Because he's active. There we go. So starts with the break once again. Wilson finds a really good cut there. I have to say, that is world class, because if that ball hits one of the jaws, Wilson is in trouble. But once again has to find a really good shot here, as the blue is far from easy, and he decides to go against going for the brown. Of course, no guarantee of getting the position from there, but gets a really good blue. Where's the cue ball going to finish though? Is he going to be on this red? He will be, but he'll also be impacted by the yellow, so not going to be straightforward cueing from that shot. But to be fair, of course, he's 37 points clear. Why is Sullivan got a point? He hasn't got a point. Why has Sullivan got a point? How do I... Okay, anyway, he'll just have a point then. How have I not figured out a button that will just delete the points from... Okay, I know what I'll do. No, actually, I'll just skip it. Anyway, let's think that it's the future and Sullivan will get another chance in this frame. For now, though, it is Wilson doing everything right. On the break of 12 here. Hasn't got a straightforward red, but pots it well. And he's now 44 points clear. Yeah, a couple of more reds and this frame should be finished, and we will go to the interval with a 2-all draw. Still has to get there at Wilson. I was thinking the same about the... I'm not sure whether it was the last frame. Might have been the one before. No, it was the last frame, yeah. When Wilson got the break of 14 and then got himself into a position which, in my view, he should never have been in. Having to force the black into his position and then having a really tough red. Didn't make it easy that he ended up on the cushion and missed that one. Sullivan went to clear up with a top 2 clearance of 116, I think. Yeah, there you go. Highest break, 116. And now Wilson will hopefully have a highest break for him in this match. He's 59 points clear here. How much is on the table? 75 on the table, so still got a red color and a red to pot to win this frame. Kyren Wilson. Should be a breeze. Whether it will be or not is another question. So that ball hasn't gone in as comfortably as Wilson would have hoped, but he still comes to on the black. So I suppose in the end, not worth talking about. The black in the end to go 67 ahead with 67 on the table, so a partial frame ball, as I would call it. And now a most definite frame ball as he rolls the red into the corner pocket. And it is 2 frames all here, so we're all equal, and we couldn't have had a better start to this match. Of course, a heavyweight clash. Sullivan being very much someone like Alexander Usyk, and then potentially Wilson trying to be like someone like Tyson Fury, but you know, only from the last couple of fights. And Wilson, of course, will be looking to make this 4 out of 4 in the recent meetings with Sullivan. Sullivan still has one more head-to-head matches, so 6 out of 11 for Sullivan, 5 out of 11 for Wilson. But Wilson has won the last 3 meetings between the two of them, including the Shanghai Masters quarterfinal. 6-3 won that match. He could still win this one 6-3, to be fair. Remember, Sullivan was leading, as I completely forgot to be doing the scores for Wilson. Yeah, so Sullivan did lose that match, and he was 2-0 up at that time, so he was 2-1 up here. Let's see if that's gonna bite him once more. So far, no biting Wilson, as he's on a break of 65, so just about enough points for a century. I don't think he'll get it though, because he needs a red and a black and all the colours, and the green is tied to the cushion. He went for it though. I mean, he's gone for the black, so he certainly knows he needs a black for the century. But once again, he'll be looking to try and cannon that green from the yellow, because he can't do it from the black. So he needs a good angle on the yellow, and then you'll try and do something about the green. Has he got the angle? So he's got the black in the pocket. Has he got the angle on the yellow? Yes, he has actually. So he needs to hit the green full on ball to me to get it anywhere near the run of play. As by the way, Wakelin, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Wakelin has won the 4th frame, so it will be 3-1 there. Can Wilson get anywhere near this green? Yes, he can, but he can't push it towards the middle pocket enough to give himself anything of a chance of putting it into the middle. He has got a double though. Has he got it? No, he hasn't. He got one of the jaws. So 75 makes it the highest break for Wilson as the players head into the interval. As, yeah, right, I'll give you 2 options. We've got 40 people here in the live chat. Either you ask me something, or I'll go for a break, 15 minutes myself, because I think we've spoken about pretty much everything we could have. Wilson doing everything right in the first frame, then O'Sullivan taking his chance in the second frame. Wilson having a mistake in the third frame. O'Sullivan coming up with a brilliant century in the end. And Wilson in the fourth frame, forcing O'Sullivan to go with an early shot into a long pot, which hasn't come up with anything but a mistake. And in the end, it was Wilson, from the second time of asking, clearing up with a break. Well, not clearing up, but winning the frame with 75 break. So, yeah, award the frame. So it's 2 frames all here. So, yeah, I'll give you 10 more seconds to ask me anything in the chat if you want. And then if not, it'll just be a 15-minute break for me and the stream. Yeah, the countdown starts now. But I'd say the next frame won't really be important, because it will always be, I think, when you're coming back from a frame, from a break I should say, from a 15-minute interval, I have found O'Sullivan does struggle in those. So I would expect him to lose the next one. And if he wins it, it's a bonus. But if he does go on to lose it, I don't think it will become an issue, because 3-2 is still manageable. I think if it becomes a 4-2 or something like that, that's when you can sort of say O'Sullivan's in trouble, because Wilson's getting control. Anyway, we'll be back in 15 minutes, and yeah, we'll resume the watch-along basically as soon as the broadcast resumes. So for now, it's a mini break. And we're back, everybody, for the frame number 5 after the mid-session interval is now over. So we'll be now looking to see who is going to be the first one to get the frame on the board. Is it going to be Kyren Wilson? Is it going to be Ronnie or Sullivan? Well, it's an early chance from Wilson, and it's the one they absolutely obliterate with a lot of power and a lot of force. In the end, nearly potted the brown, but didn't pot the red. That was the main thing. Missed it, and now we'll be looking to see what O'Sullivan can do from here. Has got not the hardest chance, but also not the easiest, so let's see what's going to happen here. As he dispatches it with some fashion. Easy on the black though. Took a gamble with that shot, I have to say. I'm not sure he has landed on it. Let's see. Yeah, I think you can see the black. Just. But that'll do. He only needs an angle. And the black is in. And that is Ronnie O'Sullivan very much on the break here. And frame number 5. Of course, the perfect start for him. I did say right before the interval, I do expect him to lose the opening frame. Simply because he always seemed to come out after, you know, a mid-session interval a little bit on the back foot, a little bit in no man's land. Not playing particularly well. Let's see if that's going to change now as he's on a break of 16. Make that 17. No. And once again, we'll play for the black. Left himself with a little bit of a harder cut there, and has that cost him badly there. You can see as he landed on a red, don't think he has. He's got one to the middle, but A, it's going to be really hard to get back on the black spot, and B, it's not an easy red to pop that. So 24 break here. Let's see what's going to happen here. Yeah, it's a hard red to pot. He has potted it though, and he's put himself back on the black here. So really good pot there, and a really important one for O'Sullivan. Yep, really good black once again. Add a little bit of distance between them, so never easy those ones. But not if you're Ronnie O'Sullivan. Everything he does makes it look very, very easy indeed. So a break of 32 here. Make that 33. So all reds and blacks for now. Of course, if you talk about 147, if you are one of those people that starts talking about them, you know, when the first red goes in, you have blue and you have brown to be very much cautious about. And there you go. So 147 hopes are demolished by O'Sullivan, who goes for one of the bold colours. I think it will be yellow, as he decides to go for a split. Of course, there was absolutely no point in going for a 147 there. Has an angle on the yellow, hasn't really got an angle on the green, so green is a little bit easier to pot. But off the green you can screw back, but it's got a natural angle on the yellow, and one of the red balls has got out of the pack, so shouldn't be too hard for O'Sullivan to get on that red or any other ones. Of course, you can leave that for a, you know, a little bit as a backup option in case you ran out of position. You always have that one to play for, just in case. The yellow is in. How is the cue ball positioning? It's not perfect, and it's far from perfect, as he ended up right behind one of the reds. The shake of the head from O'Sullivan. Yeah, that is an absolute waste there from Ronnie. And the last player you would expect, you know, one of those shots to come from. Yeah, and he has got two options to go for, either a yellow or a green pot. I do have to say straight away, I hope he turns down both of them. He can get through to the cue ball though, so that's a positive, and not too much distance between the balls, but he's missed it. I did say I hope he turns this one opportunity down, but he hasn't. And it's break of 43, which is not going to get him over the line here in this frame. He knew it, by the way, just as soon as he hit that shot, he knew that he messed it up. And yeah, we didn't see quite a slam of the fist there, but I think he'll be absolutely boiling inside. It is now Wilson's turn. He hasn't got a really straightforward beginning, but he's got that red in. And he's on the yellow, marginally, but he's in. So now it's his time now, and his turn to try and get anything out of this frame. after O'Sullivan has missed his opportunity. Of course, I think it has been a match of missed opportunities. I will say that straight away. When you talk about O'Sullivan and Wilson, both of them usually are really clinical. Neither of them have been clinical in this match. I will say that. You know, the first frame, O'Sullivan had 2 opportunities. He still lost that frame. Then, you know, second frame, Wilson had a chance, didn't use it, gave the opportunity to O'Sullivan. And usually has been 1 or 2 opportunities each wasted. So let's see if Wilson can take this frame in 1 visit. I don't think so. I'll say that straight away. I think the brown and the blue. Although, if you think about it, is he gonna need either brown or blue? I don't think so. Because 43 points from O'Sullivan, if you accumulate that to 70, because Wilson won't get the 27, well 22 actually, because it's the brown, it's not the yellow. So I think he'll be alright. I really do, with all the reds in play. Let's see how many there are left. So 11 when the black comes in. So, but he has run out of position there, so count your chickens before you kill them and have a look at this. Yeah. So 11 points scored there, and he has got a tough shot into the yellow pocket to potentially stay in this frame and stay in the break. But I say it's probably harder than the one that O'Sullivan missed. So let's see. We've got a door open here. Let's see if he goes for it. I think he probably has to play that shot anyway, whether it's going to be in an attacking fashion or not. I think he needs to get that ball out of play, or at least get it safe, or try and pot it. Yeah, I think he will go for it, but I have to say there's a little bit less distance than I thought in the first place, but still has to mount over some of the balls, and still it's a really tough shot, and he makes it. Really good pot that, I have to say. Didn't think he was going to go for it in the first place, but then another angle. Have a look at this. He struck that so beautifully. And he got onto the yellow exactly where he wanted with the cue ball. Ronnie having a look there. He knows this should be a breeze pass for Wilson. Is he going to be though? That's the question. He's on a break of 14 here, so having to play the cheaper colours. He doesn't seem to be too happy with the way he's finished on that red. Yeah, he seemed to be, I think he has too much of an angle there. I think he would have liked it a little bit straighter to finish on the black easier. Why are you sitting in a mouse pad? It's basically what it is. It's a frame, so I am in a cage, in a mouse cage, but basically it's a frame so that I've got the scores. Because if I'm gonna have my face on the full screen, A, it's too much and I haven't got that pretty face for that, and B, I just think have the scores to give you more information. So I'd be in a mouse pad, you know, with a little frame, and everyone's happy, you know. At least I put myself there, nobody else did. 15 for a break here for Wilson, as he has a black here, and screw back into those reds. Needs a little bit of luck, gets it. So good shot there. But yeah, Yash Verma, why are you sitting in a mouse pad? Hopefully I answered your question. If you've got any more, let me know. It's a good one, actually. It's a good one. It's a funny one. I like those. 22 for Wilson. Bro, your hands on the plate. Shut up. Come on. Thank you. I appreciate it, but nah, come on. I have to say, there's no way you have me in front of Wilson and O'Sullivan, so I'd rather have them faces and you know, little scoreboards of them. But thank you for that, you know. I like that. 30 for a break for Wilson. Yeah, so he's got 4 more reds here into play. 13 points is the gap. So if he gets those 4 reds, that's 32 points. He will be 19 ahead. Yeah, he can get through this frame without brown and blue. But that is considering that he will be playing those shots off the black. I'm not too sure if he's going to be doing that off the pink, which is what he's doing. Do you have any link to the live stream, Paul Bull Media? No, I haven't. I have to say I'm watching it on TNT subscription, so unfortunately, haven't really got one. I'm not sure YouTube would allow me to post one anyway, but yeah, I haven't got one, unfortunately, boss. So I'm pretty sure someone will have it somewhere, but I'm not one of those people. As Wilson now, as they got 38 points, you will be looking to have this pink to be in front at this match. Well, technically at this match as well, because it's 2-all in terms of frames, and anyone who gets this frame is going to be ahead, and technically Wilson is going to be ahead here by 1 point, so 44 to 43. Yeah, I think he's checking on the board there, on the scoreboard. He has checked himself, so he's looking if he can get away without touching the brown and the blue. If he's going to continue using the pink and the blue, I'm not going to go that far into maths because there's a high chance I'll get it wrong anyway, but he needs about 20 more points before he gets to the yellow. And he's not really going to get that with pinks. So he's 2 points ahead. If he goes for another pink, that'll be 8 points ahead. And then how many total frames? So that is best of 11. So he needs to reach 6. So it could be 11 if it's 6-5, could be 10 if it's 6-4, etc. So you have to get to 6. First to 6 basically is what you call it in the UK. Right, pink is in, 8 points ahead, and yeah, so if he gets this red in, that makes it 9 points ahead. A pink makes it 15 points, yellow makes it 17. Yeah, so he's got himself in the position where he will need the brown, doesn't need the blue at the moment, but he will need the brown. So he clearly knew that because he could have played for the blacks. And I have to say that is not the cleanest of pots from the pink to the yellow. And all of a sudden, this is turning into a little bit of a problem here because he needs a perfect angle on the green to get to the brown, but he hasn't really got a perfect angle on the yellow in the first place. So concerns there, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, he takes in his time there. He has to give it with the rest. I'm not sure what the delay is for. Yeah, we're just trying to get the sound of it because Wilson clearly there looking into the crowd, waiting for someone to settle down or just waiting for someone to move. Has an important yellow here, this Kyren Wilson, to get on the green and then hopefully finish the frame. Hopefully for him finish the frame with the brown. Does the job well with the yellow. Has he got the right angle with the green? I think he has. How do you think is Ronnie's level today compared to the Shanghai match? I have to say, I will be honest, I haven't watched the Shanghai match. I watched the highlights, and the things that I've seen is he's been Ronnie. He's had errors as Wilson puts the green and puts himself onto a frame ball, which I think is not the perfect frame ball actually. I think Shanghai match, from what I've seen, is exactly, it's a carbon copy so far, I have to say. Ronnie, I can't say he hasn't made any mistakes because he already had, I think, 4. He had 2 in the first frame, he had 1 in the second frame, and then he had 1 in this frame. So 4 unforgiving mistakes, really. He should have been punished for at least 3 of them. So he should be down by 3 frames to 1, and he is down by 3 frames to 2, as Wilson gets the frame board on, frame ball on the board. 67 points, 67 watching. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, so 24 points ahead, 18 on the table, and he goes for a little safety shot there, as gets a little bit lucky and he ends up behind the pink. But the link up, I hope that's a message to the chat, mate, because I said already, it's on TNT3. If you want to watch it on TNT3 and pay the subscription fee, that's fine. If not, then, missed your reply, got a bit laggy and then forwarded. Let me know if that is the case, because I will keep an eye on the stream delay. So, haven't heard anything so far, but let me know. So, missed your reply. Will say it's a carbon copy for me. Yash Verma, it's a carbon copy for me in terms of frame to Wilson. Ronnie has had his chances, and he has been clinical in some moments, but in the other moments, Wilson's been Wilson, really. Like, he has taken more chances than Ronnie, but Ronnie's taking those chances in a better fashion, if you get what I mean. And also, Ronnie was up by 2 frames to 1, and all of a sudden now he's losing by 3 frames to 2. But I did say before the break, expect Ronnie to lose the first frame. Because every single time I watch Ronnie, and I've watched him for like 11 years, well, I'm not going to say every single time, but so many times when I watch him, no matter whether it is 8 or 12 or whatever, when it's the first frame after the break, he always loses that frame, in my view. So a carbon copy for me, Yash Verma, in terms of the Shanghai match. But as I said, I haven't watched it entirely. But from what I've seen, it's been a carbon copy of it. So we'll see. I need a response really from Ronnie, because losing 2 frames in a row to someone like Kyren, he can't be losing 3 frames in a row. And if he's not losing 3 frames in a row, then he's winning the next one. And there's a big difference between having the score 3-all and then, yeah, bro, Kyren doesn't miss, his Q action is too perfect. I think that's what it is, I think Kyren Wilson is the most consistent player right now on tour. Because even on the commentary before in the TNT, because I was listening to it, they were saying that he is the best one in the world. If you compare him to Zhao Xingtong, which is obviously the world champion right now, you would expect the world champion to be the best. One thing you have to remember, Kyren is the world champion from, 2 seasons ago, because the season ends in the world championship. But basically, before Xingtong, he's the last one to be a world champion. So I'd say he's probably the best player on tour right now. And I think, is he number 1 in the world in terms of rankings? I'll have a look. He's number 2 now. So who's number? Oh, Trump, of course. I forgot about Trump because he's been eliminated. Yeah, recently I say Wilson is better than Trump. In Shanghai Masters, Trump wasn't playing that well, and then losing to Oliver Lartens. I know Oliver played that game really well, but I don't think Trump played that one really well. Ronnie did accept it as well in some commentary. His Q action is never wrong. I think so, and I think Ronnie's Q action is better. Even in this match, it has been better. Trump has been off recently, I agree, but it's only been 2 tournaments, and it takes sometimes it just takes for them to get a bit of momentum, which is why I think Wilson is so dangerous. And I think if Wilson gets through this match, I reckon he'll be really. Let's have a look. I'm not sure whether the odds will tell us who's the favourite already right now, because the match is going on. But if he wins this, surely he becomes a favourite for the tournament. Ronnie kicks off Wilson actually kicks off the frame number 6. Yeah, we haven't got the odds, but anyway, it will be Wilson for the favourite for me, because he's got Barry Hawkins, Chris Wakelin. I'm pretty sure Wakelin will win that match, and then he'll have Elliot Slesser and Neil Robertson. Wakelin 4-1 up here against Hawkins. So Robertson has been steady, and Slesser has been good, but Slesser's good is not as good as Wilson's decent. As once again Ronnie goes for the pot that really wasn't there, and has he left Wilson with anything? The camera's on Ronnie, so I can't see it. Yeah, I think he has, unless those 2 balls are overlapping with each other, and they are actually, surprisingly so. He obviously knew what he was doing there, Ronnie. He leaves one to the middle pocket, and potentially could play this into the green pocket or the middle pocket. A long shot, yeah, I think it is. But he doesn't think so, and he goes for a little drop into the middle pocket. Works out. A really good play there. And once again, I just think for Ronnie to be on the cushion, it has to be there was no way that he probably just didn't find anything to play a safety from. Kyren taking the momentum, yeah, 100%. Kyren is going to be running away with it. I was expecting it from the first frame, but then Kyren made 2 mistakes, and all of a sudden Sullivan was 2-1 up. Get the mouse out of the way. Kyren taking him. If he gets this frame, he is so much of a favourite now for logically, 4-2 lead, but I will say one thing though. Yesterday, 5-2 against Shang Bin Yu, Ronnie O'Sullivan. I was saying 5-2. I was saying, if you are a gambler, bet on Ronnie losing 6-2. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying right now. But Ronnie came back yesterday. You can't miss that. That's what I'm saying. At 5-2, I was going to say, put all your money on Ronnie losing that match 6-2, because he was missing every single shot there. He was 5-2 down. Bin Yu had a chance to clear the table for the match, and then all of a sudden he missed it, and Ronnie came back and had 4 almost flawless frames and winning the match 6-5. So he went from being 50 point or something down in the 8th frame, being 5-2 down, as Wilson gets a little bit unlucky, I'd say, with the angle from the black. 15 points for him. So Sullivan is more than capable of coming back, as he's done. We all remember, well, some of us remember that semi-final against Selby in the 2020 season. You know, I was watching that match. He was dead. 14-16 he was losing. You could go for a toilet break for 15 minutes. You can come back. It was 16-all. Like, he is more than capable of winning all those matches. But is Ronnie of 2020 the same as Ronnie of 2025? We're going to find out soon. I mean, no point guessing. For me, it's not. For me, he hasn't been the same since 2022. He's just so inconsistent. One thing about Ronnie is he's always been a little inconsistent here and there, but he was always against the lower tier players. And against someone like Wilson, he was always going to take the game to the next level and, you know, put a 6-2 performance or 6-3 performance on. Or, you know, if Kyren was playing brilliantly, he would have put a 6-5 performance or something. But he'll still win, as Kyren has a decent cluster there. Yeah, gets a little bit lucky with the ball coming right at him, so that should be an easy couple of shots there. He's not really going to be able to screw back on that, because it's he has a really unique usage of rest there. You can have a look at the referee. If you're watching this on TNT, have a look at the referee's face, man. He's like, you're not supposed to be using it like that. But I mean, Wilson is, and he's a world champion, so you can't judge that. Yeah, by the way, it's a good shot actually from Wilson. He was able to screw back in the end. So Sullivan can still come back. Which TNT is this on? Number 3. So TNT Sports 3 should be on. I'm not sure whether I've seen all the matches on the TNT 3 this tournament, but I'm pretty sure that they all have been. By the way, talk about the crowd. I've seen the highlights, and when you're watching it with the sound on, you expect an absolute roar from the crowd. Man, I feel like I'm in the library. Like, if you are a Man City fan, I'm sorry, that's how Etihad sounds. You know, I'm not gonna. Well, it's a bit of a myth actually, because I only was watching on the video. I've never been to the Etihad myself, but I've been once, but not when the match day was. As Wilson gets another point on the board, so 30 here, but he's taking it slowly though, Wilson. I will say that he clearly understands that he can't afford to have any errors in this frame, and he's got one now. Has he finished too far? I think he has, and that face of his tells me that he has, and it will be the end of a break here. So no matter how slowly he was taking it, he has messed it up, because yeah, he clearly was planning for that kiss on the red to be a lot harder, and then basically just stop the cue ball in the position that red ball was in. It didn't. It just clipped off it and continued moving like in the opposite direction. And yeah, let's go. Ronnie has a chance. Well, is he gonna get a chance? Last time Wilson had a break of 40, he played a really good safety, and in the end, O'Sullivan just made himself look like a semi-professional and just left Kyren with an easier chance, and he cleared up. So yeah, Ronnie's keen though. You can see it was the second that Kyren played that shot, Ronnie was up from his seat as the break ends in 37, and we switch to Ronnie, and it's going to be a safety battle play. Let's go. Ronnie has a chance, hopefully. I'm all for it, Yash, but as I said, the momentum is keen in snooker. The one person the momentum doesn't usually impact is O'Sullivan. But the reason for that is he's always got the quality to back it up. Like, he always has the quality to sort of come back from... I remember him, was it Jordan Brown he was playing in Northern Ireland final or something? Or there might have been Welsh Open. He was 7-1 down. He went 7-all. He still lost that, by the way, just saying, 9-7, but he went 6 frames in a row without losing in a final against someone who wasn't a brilliant player, but was still a top pro and was winning O'Sullivan 7-1 on that day. So O'Sullivan can do anything when he's playing well. The problem is, recently, he hasn't really been playing that well to make a difference. Some say he has against O'Connor, dispatching that brilliantly. I think, was it, 100 minutes? Something like that, so maybe less. 5 frames, really straightforward. I think the break was probably, the 15 minutes break was probably the longest time between the frames. because I don't think any of the frames lasted more than 15 minutes. As Ronnie goes for another long pot, misses it by a mile, and leaves Wilson with a decent chance here, because the cue ball is not on the cushion. The distance between the balls is not that significant. I would expect him to make it. And he doesn't, which I have to say I'm quite pleased about, because as I said before, I want Ronnie to win. Or at least, if Ronnie doesn't win, I want this to be a competitive match, and I want Wilson to win because he's brilliant, not because Ronnie is losing every single chance. So far, recently, in a couple of frames, that has been the case, as we can see another replay here. Yeah, Wilson knows it's not good enough for a player like him. Steps away, and it's time for Ronnie to try and step in himself. Yep, good opening shot. Gets the ball in, so gets the break started, and the position, I have to say, is absolutely perfectly. So Wilson should be kicking himself after losing that red, because it wasn't straightforward, but it wasn't the hardest one. He already potted this match, so... And for a professional like Kyren, you should be potting those balls, no matter what you tell me. Yeah. Yash, if you're telling me Ronnie has a chance, I'm telling you he hasn't, because he's missing the shot. He's missing the shots that he'd never miss in his life as a professional. He just played the blue. He landed on it from the wrong side, which was fine at that point because he was playing a really deep screw. But he caught the green right on the head. Never mind, Yash. Never mind. Let me go back on it. No, that's fine. Never mind. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. He just spotted a brilliant red. I didn't say anything. No, actually, I did say it because he's landed on another bad colour. I should wait just 2 more extra seconds. Haha, yeah, I mean, exactly. We're back. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I mean... and he, once again... Oh, we're not. There you go, man. Yeah, you're in the same boat as me are. I mean, he's got 3 shots which he made the mess of, and all of a sudden he got through on each of them. But this, he potted the yellow really nicely there. So we are back, and he's on the red. So by the way, I've checked that one that time. So we are back, Yash. But the problem here is he has got the blue covered, and he's in a little bit of a problem here because he hasn't really got an angle on this red. So what he has to do is roll it for that. No, he's not rolling, he's screwing it back. That's going to be a tough shot, because I have to see, I don't really see what he's screwing back. Wow, he's playing for the black. Brilliant there from Sullivan. A little bit too close for the cushion, and he made it brilliantly. Once again, straight away, got down, hit the black. We are back, Yash. We're back in business, and Ronnie's back in business. And hopefully you will avoid any silly errors. And actually, the ball that I was expecting him to pot is not really going into that pocket, but he has found an alternative there. So he's finding some shots here, Sullivan, but the problem is the position is not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse, because one of the reds now is a little bit closer to the cushion than you would like. He's got a brown, which he can't really force an angle from. And he still only has 18 points to his name in his frame. Make that 22 as he pots the brown well. So he's still behind, and as I say, that blue and that red is the thing that would be messing me a little bit. Obviously not messing Sullivan up, as he's now looking to get himself ahead in this frame. But once again, man, like we've said it, every single frame, apart from one where Sullivan has found a century. By the way, I've just seen it. We've got 103 people watching. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And hopefully you'll stick around for longer than 29 seconds, is all I'm going to say. So 29 points for Sullivan. He makes it 30 here. But yeah, every single time one of them has had a chance, they bottled it. So they wasted that chance, and they've given the opponent the problem. Yeah, I'm here till the last frame. Yash, legend. All I can say, thank you very much. 37-0 here at frame 6. I have to say though, it has been a perfect match. Like from the spectator point of view, especially if you're neutral, as O'Sullivan seems to be finding his groove. 44 points. From a neutral point of view, this match has had everything you want. He had centuries, he had mistakes, he had, battles. There's no consistency there. You don't think O'Sullivan is going to win 6 frames in a row. You don't think Wilson's going to win frame 6 in a row. I have to say though, if O'Sullivan keeps it up like he's playing right now, he's played some really good shots in his break, you will win this match. hopefully, fingers crossed for me. Like, I haven't seen Ronnie lift the title for a while. I think I've seen him last season. Was it against Carter, where he plays dreadfully in the final, and both of them were just making so many errors. But yeah, I would love him to win this tournament. And I think, of course, we all know Saudi. You know, if you watch football and if you watch boxing, well, don't be watching it now because Sullivan just missed an easy red. Yeah, I'll finish my point later because Sullivan has made an absolute mess of that. And Wilson, just changed it on the scoreboard. And all of a sudden, Wilson, you can see in his chair, he wasn't even expecting from that shot. Usually he'll be up from the second one, but he wasn't even expecting him to miss that shot. 14 points is behind Wilson, and he's got a hard shot into the yellow pocket, so not the easiest, not the hardest. He misses it. Bro, we're jinxing it or what? So far not, because Wilson is unable to make the most out of it. So far we're not really jinxing it, but I'd say it's the O'Sullivan's jinxing it. It's 9 times out of 10. He would have put this. He would have put it that red with his eyes closed. 9 times out of 10, like I'm telling you, he would have. But I don't think one thing about O'Sullivan is another thing actually. He no longer can be just getting down to the table, not concentrating, and just playing on autopilot. I think he's lost that now. I will say that. I think he's lost that now. I think he has to take every single shot now a lot more carefully, because unless he's sort of like, the same that he was doing against O'Connor, where he won 4 frames in a row and he was playing brilliantly, won 5 in the end. I mean, in that last frame, as he finds a really good red there and a really good blue. So, a really good performance from O'Connor, but on a consistent basis, when he's won that one frame, even in this match already, we've seen it. You would, as he pots the last red, you would expect him to finish the frame off here, as he's only got a yellow and a green to go, and he will be set because the green is frame ball. I think Ronnie needs a one-sitting frame now. I have to say, it's getting to that point of the match where he just has to grind out. 3-0 here. Are we really going to see Will give him the momentum? Listen, if he does get it, I think it's a bonus. In my eyes, I don't think he'll get it. I don't think, unless it's a sort of like clear-cut opportunity where... He won this frame, by the way. Was a little bit late to put the score up for the yellow and the green. So... yeah, got the brown as well, so that is definitely Kyren not coming back to the table. So 3-0 here, I think we have to remember, nice, I'd say nice. None of the player has been in the lead by more than 1 frame. Wilson missing way too much, isn't he now? Really, you're telling me this now after what we've seen from O'Sullivan? I mean, O'Sullivan has missed way more than Wilson. I mean... I don't think you get the unforced errors like you do in tennis, or sort of like XG like you do in football. But O'Sullivan has missed, in my view, O'Sullivan has missed 2 or 3 more clear-cut chances than Wilson. But what I would, yes, but O'Sullivan is like on his side. But yeah, true, I suppose Wilson in his prime. Are we seeing Wilson in his prime though? Is that really the best of Kyren Wilson? I don't think it is. I think he's way better than that. Prime Wilson shouldn't be making 1 mistake a frame on a consistent... yeah, that's what I'm saying. One Wilson shouldn't be really making 1 mistake each frame. He's worse today. Haven't seen all of his matches. I've seen him against Si Jiahui yesterday. It was a good match. I think Si didn't really make himself look too good. By the way, what's happening to Si Jiahui and Ding Junhui? I mean, Xiao Xingtong, all of a sudden, he was, amateur when he was playing in the World Championship, and all of a sudden now he's the best Chinese player by a mile. And both Junhui and Si Jiahui are struggling now, so, But yeah, Wilson, I should give the frame to O'Sullivan here. Wilson is not playing the way he was playing yesterday, but the same could be said about O'Sullivan in the latter stages of the Bingun match, or every stage of the O'Connor match. O'Sullivan was playing way better than that. Way better. But the thing about O'Sullivan is, you need to be playing him on his bad day. And is Kyren playing him on a bad day? Yes. It's not a good day for Sullivan so far. But the problem for Kyren is he has managed to win 3 of those frames, but he should have won 5. The century that O'Sullivan had should have been the only frame, to my view. If I was Kyren's coach, you should be looking at this as thinking, I am not 3-0 here. I am 2 frames down from what I should be, and he has 2 more frames than he should have, in my view, because he had in each of those frames he had 2 absolute stinkers of a misses. One, of course, of them was a miss, and the second one he ran out of position. Sure, that's the way of looking at it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're Kyren Wilson and all of a sudden you're in your prime, and he was brilliant last season, I'll say that. It was absolutely brilliant, and I really like Wilson. He's my second favourite player. Never been a fan of Trump, simply because when I was watching Trump in the, late, sort of, how do you say, 19th, 18th, 17th, he was never like anywhere near O'Sullivan level, so it was always Ronnie. But then, when you compare the way of playing for Wilson against O'Sullivan, Wilson just hasn't got it, even in his prime. So I'm not too sure what to delay here, as we got 6 frames, so 3 frames all should be a lot quicker start, as we can see that Barry Hawkins here has got a little bit of an issue here. Is he jawed himself on the blue? He's still 32 points clear, so he should be breezing this one. Should be at least 4-2 to Wilson. We'll come back to bite him here. Ronnie 6-4. My prediction, Andrew, exactly what I said. Not even 4-2 to me. I said 5-1. I said Wilson should be 5-1. Maybe it's a little bit harsh, but I'd say when you're having 2 mistakes in the quarterfinal of a tournament like this, you should be punished for them. We have to accept that even the best mess up now and then. You know what, Kitani, Michael Banda? No. Because there was 2023 or 2024 or 2022 even, when there were tournaments when neither of them were missing. And last year, I remember the players like Zach Duety, the Martin O'Donnell sometimes, Joe O'Connor, Julian Boyko. I'm not sure whether you've heard. He's my wildcard from Ukraine, but he lost to Wilson, by the way, only just. Talking about scrappy stuff there, as finally frame number 6 is underway here. As Wilson comes back with a brilliant pot, I have to say. Good time for him. So I would disagree that the best were messing up now and then. They were putting 80 to 90% of the time they were finishing a frame with 1 break, or at least when I say finish a frame, when you're 60 points clear with 75 on the table, and you've got 2 red balls safe, you have finished the frame. To me, you just have to get over the line. But you have done the hard work, and you've done all the hard. You basically finished the frame at that time. So maybe Kitani, Michael Banda. What I would say to you is, Kyren gets good brown. It's the start of the season though. They had a little break. What was it, 2 months? Then they came to the Championship League, which I'm still yet to find what the point of that is. But Maguire, fair play to Maguire, by the way, winning that one, and O'Connor got to the final. Fair play to those lads, but neither of the big boys were playing it, as Wilson comes back with a really good red here. So he's looking to be in a good position, but he lands straight on that blue. Will be a struggle, that. So yeah, he could still be really early on. But Andrew, yeah, exactly. Hope Kyren keeps messing up. I want Ronnie to take this. Man, I have to say, in the world, when you're watching a match like this, are there many people that don't want Ronnie to win? Me included. I want Ronnie to win it. I want Ronnie to win every single of those matches. But the problem is, he doesn't usually do that, does he? Especially recently, in the recent leagues. But I hope he does. And I agree with you. I hope Kyren keeps messing up, because I think that's the only way that Ronnie can win this match. And I actually think that's sad. That's another thing that is really sad to me, that the only way, and that was the case in Bingyu match yesterday, if Bingyu didn't mess up in the frame number 8 when he was like 40 points clear, he would have won that match. And O'Sullivan would have been nowhere near it, and he would have been given an interview saying, you know what, I wasn't queuing enough well, and it just wasn't my day. Bingyu messed up and let O'Sullivan back in the frame number 8, made it from 5-2 to 5-3, then had 2 frames where he didn't really give him a sniff. And in the end, Was it? It is. Yeah, it was. Actually, if you've seen the Bing Yu match yesterday, you have to tell me when you were watching the frame number 9, when he was like, what was I going to say? Yeah. So in frame 9, he had a chance to win the frame, but he had to play a really aggressive pink, and he was like 20 points behind or something. So if he messes up that pink, he leaves Bing Yu on with a clear match ball, the easiest match ball, and he put it from the cushion, and he was perfect on the red. I have to say that was the short of the tournament for me. For that pressure from the cushion, like when you're playing those, you just know those are the killer. And Sullivan, like he wasn't playing particularly well in that frame. For him to just come away with a moment of brilliance there. This has to be the toughest round for Sullivan, right? Post this easy. I am a massive Wakelin fan, man. I said this before, I will say it again. I'm a massive Wakelin fan. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. Chris Wakelin, he is 4-2 up here, as Kyren, I think, has messed up again. So he's gone way past the bulk area. He might be all right here, as he's got an angle on the brown to come back for the reds. Hasn't really got too many to aim for though. We'll see though. So 36 on the board here. Will be 40 with the brown. Post this easy. So the players that are easy left in the tournament will be easier than Kyren, by the way. I'm just saying. He has got the brown, but he hasn't really got a good angle on this red. So we'll see. Still a lot of work to do. Post this easy. If you compare Slessor, Robertson, and Wakelin to Wilson, yes. But if you compare Wakelin, Slessor, and Robertson to this Wilson, to which he's playing right now, by the way, he's just spotted a really good red off the rest, I think it could be tougher. Because you telling me the way that Elias Slessor has been playing, and he's punished Williams, and I'm pretty sure he's punished Higgins as well, so he got past the class of 92, both of them. He'll make it 3 out of 3 if he's in the final. I have to say, Wakelin and Slessor have been such good players this tournament. A good ping there for Wilson. 47 on the board. And 47 current break, of course. So you should be looking to make this a 50 plus break. Could be, but yeah, I mean, I have to say, those semi-finals, which hopefully I'll be doing, I'll sacrifice tennis for it because it's not US Open quiet. So I'll sacrifice tennis. I'm not sure, I still haven't decided whether I'll do Man U Arsenal on the Premier League is back, of course, as Wilson has a really good pot there. And a lot of topspin, pushes his way through the black. A little bit of a gamble because he was stuck to a red there, but fortune favours the brave and he's done everything right there. Yeah, I'll be really looking forward to Wakelin or Sullivan or Wakelin. I've just realised I'm not giving Robertson or Hawkins any chance. A little bit harsh on me, but I have to say, is Robertson going to deliver? With all the respect, and I got huge respect for Neil, like, really good player, a really good person. I'm not even sure what he's better at. I'll probably say he's a better person than he's a player, but he's a brilliant player, world champion, of course. I do want to see a Slessor and a Wakelin final. Because, by the way, I'm saying this because if O'Sullivan gets through this match and he plays like that against Wakelin, Robertson, Slessor, any of them, you'll still lose. Yeah, Robertson, I miss his prime. Mate, his prime was scary. Like, Neil Robertson was the player number 1 that I was feared of. When I was starting watching snooker in 2014, it wasn't Selby, it wasn't Hendry because it was too late. It was Robertson. It was Robertson that I was literally scared of him because at that time, I have no idea why. When he was like the world championship in 2014, I thought he was a 7-time world champion, Robertson. I don't know where I got the stat from, but I thought he was a 7-time world champion. I was only 10, mate, so you can let me away on this one, but like, I thought he was a 7-time world champion, and I was scared of his way of play because I remember he was playing on Sullivan and he absolutely demolished him. It was either 6-0 or 6-2. A brilliant match, like, and it wasn't one of those where O'Sullivan was messing up a lot. It was just a break off from O'Sullivan. Robertson finds a brilliant ball. By the way, Wilson has messed up. He hasn't really messed up because he's got a frame ball. So yeah, end of break here for Kyren. 67 on the board, 69 ahead for Wilson. Break ended 0. Come on. Come on. Why is it stuck on a break ended 0? Anyway, forget it. I can't do anything with it. Yeah. By the way, he shares the same birthday as me. Robertson. What time's that? Robertson. Let me have a look. Oh no, not Andrew Robertson. I'd love to see him though. And Liverpool fullback, being a Liverpool fan. 11th of February. If you're talking about Robertson, 11th of February. Fair play. Fair enough. The Rock shares the birthday with my dad. I don't think I share any birthdays with some celebrities. At least not there. I share actually a really sad thing. Niki Lauda died in 2019 on the same day I was born, on the 20th of May. I remember being at school, being in the IT class. It was really sad actually. We're going to finish off the story later. Well, actually, might as well finish it now because Sullivan has spotted the red, but he's 69 points ahead, 68 now. Or same year as well. Nah, no same year as well. So I was born in, obviously, a lot, what do you say? A lot of years before 2019. So he's died in 2019. I was at school at then. So I wasn't born and came to school the same day. So not quite, but, you know, still a sad thing there. Sullivan, by the way, he's not done with his frame yet, as he just bullied an absolutely brilliant black and a thunderous red. Put it the black once more, so 16 points. He still only needs one snooker. He's 53 behind. Oh, Niki Lauda, I was thinking someone else, my bad. No, don't worry. Yeah, legend. I miss him in the paddock, I have to say. From Formula 1 perspective, a little bit different to the subject, but from a Formula 1 perspective, he was such a legend, even though I was dead against Mercedes and Hamilton, being a Seb fan. You know, I'll put an emoji in the chat. Which one is that? Yeah, I follow F1. Yeah, there you go. There's a little Seb emoji. I don't know, I just put it out there for fun. Yeah, it was a legend. And you have to say, from 2019, where are Mercedes now without Lauda? You know, legend he was. Apparently, of course, multiple stories that I call him major reason. Yeah, I was literally gonna say that. Apparently a major reason that in 2013 Hamilton joined Mercedes and left McLaren was because Niki kept telling him, as that's the end of the frame for Sullivan. And yeah, Wilson has spotted the red and he's killed this frame off. So a brilliant, yeah, massive reason for me as well, because if you're a man with sanity, there's no way you're going from McLaren to Mercedes. But Lauda was just, yeah, this frame is over now. End of break, and that will be the end of a frame as well. So, yeah, a massive reason for Lewis coming to Mercedes when Michael, of course, left before he had that tragic accident of his. It was Niki, and it couldn't have worked out better for Hamilton. You know, going to Mercedes in 2012 would have been a disaster. Going to Mercedes 2013, all of a sudden he was the second best team. You know, Seb was was of course dominating the sport still. Me, a little bit of a shame. I started following Formula 1 in 2014 when Seb lost all of his dominance. Yeah, but still, I really enjoyed Formula 1, and one thing I'll say, enjoyed playing snooker really heavily on the court, on the table. But one thing that will forever give me goosebumps, and there's nothing that I found yet that gives you as much adrenaline rush as those 5 lights. Those 5 lights, when they're in, and you're just waiting for them to be down, I've never seen anything like, I've never felt like anything like it. Never in my life. And Martin, you know what? I will be really controversial here, and you might just tell me to go away and quit the stream, but I don't really am a massive fan. Well, actually, I'm not really controversial. I'm just saying I'm not a massive Martin Brundle fan. Not really. I think that's the reason for that is 2 reasons. I don't come from the UK, So I haven't watched the Formula One Sky Sports a lot of times until I came to the UK like 3-4 years ago. I haven't really watched the Sky Sport. I watched it in my language, and I always preferred it that way. Martin Brundle, for me, always had a little bit of an agenda against Seb. And me being a massive Seb fan, I always felt like Martin was always underplaying him. There's always a famous, there's a famous clip there of Coulthard and everyone on the BBC saying like, is he going to become a world champion in 2010? And everyone laughing at Coulthard. I always felt that Martin was putting the drivers like Rosberg and Fernando ahead of Sebastian unfairly. Yeah, these Sky Sports guys always have an agenda. British. I mean, you tell me, forget Lewis, he's the greatest of all time, even I'll accept that as a die-hard Sebastian fan. And Lewis being his, fiercest rival, I'll accept that Lewis is the greatest of all time, but Lando, and I actually quite like Lando, but the way they're bigging him up on Sky Sports is incredible. I mean, you couldn't do that on our TV, and we haven't got any, sportsmen from our country. But the way they're bigging Lando up, and the way they were bigging, what was the other guy that I'm thinking of? Russell in 2022, they always try to find an excuse. Yeah, no one takes him seriously. I actually quite like Lando, by the way. I'm just saying. I just think he's nowhere near good enough as they're putting him. I like Lando. I think he's a real guy. I think he needs to get his head in the right place. I think he needs to step his performances up. I like Oscar as well. It's one of those where, since I haven't got Seb anymore, I don't really have a fan there. I don't really have a favourite driver there, so I'm just watching from a sort of neutral's perspective. I like both of them, but I would just want Lando to win. I think Oscar will take it. Logically, you'd think so. I think I would want Lando to win it just for the case of I hate when someone's written off. And Seb has said it as well, or Sullivan once again, with a howler here. So, yeah, once again, I think Wilson will take advantage of it and he'll just run away with it. Yeah, I think so. Because O'Sullivan's making too many unforced errors. Has a really tough long putt here for Wilson, but he makes it beautifully, sticks up for the black as well, so doing everything right. And yes, the first point on the board, looking to make a break count here. Neutral as well, yeah, I just think Nico said it as well, the championship will be decided is Lando. So yeah, I heard that, and Rosberg, as much as he bigs himself up, then, more than Sky Sport big up Lando, he's won that championship, brilliant. I think I've heard about Nico winning the championship more than I've heard about Lewis winning the championship. Mental. It's going to be a mental challenge. I actually agree with him. And I think a lot of stuff that he says on Sky Sports, I agree with. I don't watch a lot of it, but because A, I don't have time, and B, I don't have motivation. But C, I think when he does talk a lot of sense. Even when he said, before Max confirmed his contract in 2026, Wilson's running away with it, by the way. I'm just saying he should have a 40 break minimum here and have a strong foot here for a 5-3 lead. Yeah, he has the driver's perspective, but emotional, yeah. I think one thing that you can't take away from Rosberg is it's alright having people like Palmer in there. Jolyon Palmer, if you don't know, really good. I say he's a really good driver in 2017. Unlucky against Hulk, but Palmer could never deliver something that Rosberg could, which is championship perspective. As much as Nico bigs himself up all the time for winning that championship in 2016, he has won it, fair play. He knows what it takes to do that. And he knows even when he was losing, he could still learn a lot from the losing battles. Like 2014, if he has talked about, winning losing in 2014, I should say, 17 here for Kyren, once again in and around the black. It could still be important for Lando and Oscar because Lando has got one more year of experience to me because he's still technically, even though for me he never was in that championship battle, he still lost that battle last year. He was 60, 70 points behind him or whatever, but he had a better car. And some say he should have won that championship. I don't think so. I think Max had too much of an advantage as Kyren looks to have messed himself up. 24 points scored, and he goes into the class, and I think he hasn't really got anywhere with it. He's got a long shot into the yellow pocket. He also has a middle pocket shot, but I'm not sure if he's going to take either of them. But yeah, Ronnie needs to lack in his frame. Yeah, he does. And he's got a little bit over here. Needs Kyren to miss this, because if he doesn't, he has opened those bunch nicely. And he has got it. Really good pot there from Wilson. 25 point. Yeah, but it was obvious McLaren had a better car last year. You know what? I need someone, and I will keep doing this. How much of it, Verstappen, is down to that Red Bull car? Because there's 2 points to me. I cannot absolutely believe that Verstappen is better than Prime Senna. And that's what some people make him look like, because they say Tsunoda, Perez, Lawson, I'm not sure if they had anyone else, make that car look like it's sort of Williams level. You know, Kick Sauber level or something like that. And then Verstappen keeps winning races. But I'm saying there's no way you can have Albon Gasly. Yeah, but Albon Gasly were in the years that Verstappen wasn't really doing anything spectacular. Like, it was a lot better than them. Like 2019, he was smashing Gasly up. It wasn't smashing Albon as comfortably, but still was a lot better than Alex. But he wasn't winning championships and he wasn't winning races in that years, is what I'm saying. But he's up against two good drivers in Lando and Oscar. He's up against, but Perez was winning races. Yeah, but he was winning races in 2021. I mean, 2022 he had 2 wins, and then all of a sudden he disappeared for what, 19 races, and 2023, you know, what was it? Why have nobody told me that I haven't got a full scoreboard here? I've just realised that. Oh, I've been messing around with it. There you go. You should see the match history here on the board. Yeah, there you go. That's better. There you go. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, I had to adjust it a little bit. So Wilson here should put this match probably as well. 5-3 lead. Or Sullivan, has he got what it takes to win 3 frames in a row? Yeah, he's got a 50 points lead basically. There's 2 reds on the cushion. And yeah, all of the rest of them are in open play, so Wilson shouldn't be messing around. But the point that I was going to make is, how good is Verstappen, or how bad are Tsunoda, Lawson, Perez in the last couple of years? Because I disagree that if Verstappen has a worse car than Hamilton, Leclerc, Russell, Antonelli to a certain extent, because he's got the same car as greetings from Brazil, Gabriel Sanchez, greetings from UK. This is Brazil, you know, this is the only phrase that I probably know from the Fast and Furious one. Quite like that one. A lot of awe in that. Yeah, greetings from Brazil. Fair play, man. Thank you. Watching me from Brazil. I think they say the car is too much prioritized. Yes, that's actually a good point. And I keep forgetting about it, because I've got a friend that is so high-tech in F1, man. If you're going to have an argument with him about F1, you might as well just lose straight away, because he gets 99 out of 100 right of them. Not sure how true it can be. You know what I'd say? I think it is right, because Verstappen was quick in any car. 2015 Toro Rossi was quick. 2016 Red Bull he was quick. 2017 Red Bull he was quick. 2018 he wasn't quick because he was making an idiot of himself. What does your friend say about the car? He says it's the max. He is confident that he is the max. He says the max is just too good, and he's better than anything we've seen so far. I don't think he's a smart person, so you wouldn't say he's better than Senna, because I don't think neither me or him watch Senna. But yeah, he's basically better than anything we've seen in recent years, and he's on par with Lewis, sort of, 2020 season, when he didn't have a lot of competition. Max, of course, has competition. Prime Lewis, I'd say, was probably... It's a good question now. Prime Lewis 2014? So it's not... No, yeah, that's what he says. So he says it's not about the car. I say it is about the car. That guy says it's about Max and his quality. So he just brings too much to the table, is what he says. I can't believe that. But why do you only the second... Yeah, that's my point. But I think you sort of answered it with your comment, saying that What would you say? Yeah, Max has a style of a car that only he can adapt to. So it's sort of like, it's the opposite to what Seb used to have. In 2013, in 2011, the reason why Seb was dominating as Wilson crushes that frame once more and gets himself 5-3 ahead, the reason why Seb was crushing those 2 seasons is because they had a car, RB9 and RB7, which was built perfectly for his style, where you would put the car really heavily on the front and the rear of the car would have so much downforce they would stick to any corner, especially to the tracks like India at that time or Bahrain. You would just throw the car and the back of the car would stick. Apparently, Max does the opposite of that. He would throw the front, really trying to make it aggressive on the front, and then the back of the car, he would just be able to maneuver it with little downforce. So the majority of the downforce would be on the front. I'm not technically on this one, but that's what I've heard and it's made sense to me. The back of the front would always stick to the corner. And Max has the ability to cover up the back end. He always has the ability to control it and make sure it's pointing in the right direction. And if you see, yes, it could be very true, yeah. And if you see the highlights from Perez, from Tsunoda and from Lawson, they seem to be not trusting that car. And the reason why they don't trust that car, in my view, is because you can't be throwing that car around the way Max is, because you are not as good on the throttle on the back. The car suits his style and other can't adapt easy. There you go. There you go. I think that's the way to put it. And another thing is, I think Max wasn't driving like that in 2016, 17, 18, because he was still very young. I think one of the things here was, if you take away Perez, you have Gasly, Albon. Ricciardo was brilliant, by the way. He is a bit of a Neymar. Ricciardo is a Neymar for me. Neymar was better at Barcelona than Ricciardo was at Red Bull, but his decision to come at Red Bull is an absolute disgrace. I miss him. Yeah, it's a shame that he's one of those players, one of those drivers that you do miss in Formula 1. But that time the car wasn't maybe too maxi. Which car? Oh, you mean the 2018, 17, 16? Maybe, but I think it was a little bit easier than that. I reckon at that time Max wasn't as established as he is now, and he was just making too many errors when Ricciardo was there. No, I think Max was just making too many errors. Max wasn't a priority. You think so? Yeah, I think Ricciardo was the priority. No, I think it's a good question. Hawkins makes it 3-4 actually in the Wakelin match. I've written off already, so hopefully Hawkins will lose that match. Sorry, Barry, but you know, I do want Chris to win that one. As we can see the replay, Hawkins, yeah, he won it on the last pink, so fair play. 3-4 there. What was I going to say? Yeah, talk about Max. 2016 was a good season. You know, he made these highlights reel with that win against Spain, Ferrari bottling it once more. Idiots. How do you have two cars competing basically against one car because Red Bull messed it up really early with Ricciardo? I mean, don't talk to me about Ferrari and the strategy. Being a Seb fan, man, that was so painful to watch. But I think he wasn't making any mistakes in the 2016 because he was still in the honeymoon period. Oh, you know, I'm quick. I can't challenge Mercedes, but I'll do what I can. You know, sort of Singapore, Malaysia, it was Ricciardo pretty much putting the pressure on Mercedes when they could. 2017 had a disastrous season, really. At the early part, came back later because Monaco, he should have been on the podium. He messed it up. The team messed it up. He was overcut by Ricciardo. Then, trying to think, he was really good 2017 Silverstone, Seb, being unlucky there with a puncture. It was, you're too good with years. You know what, like, I was just such a fan of Formula 1. No, actually it's a lie. I wasn't a fan of Formula 1. I can't call out years so easily. I can call out years 2014 till 2022, because that's when Seb was racing. And it wasn't about Formula One, it was about Seb. And I was so attached to him as Ronnie gets himself into a break here. Come on, Ronnie. Come on, man. Get a break. Get a frame on the board. Come on. Why won't he switch? Oh, because I'm not on the right page. Gets himself 7 points on the board. You can call out ES so easily. Every single race that Seb was racing, I was buzzing to. I was waiting to. I remember finishing school, making sure I got all the right grades and just not giving the parents any sort of chance to sort of say, you're not watching this race. 2016 was a pain. 2015 was brilliant for Seb. But if you talk about Max, 2017 and was the transition year for me. 2016 was the honeymoon, 2017 was the transition, and 2018 was an absolute piece of crap. I will say that. Piece of crap for Max because he was making mistakes. Name me a world champion that made as many mistakes as Max did in 2018. I don't think you can. Anyone want to say Seb, I'll block you. But I will say, as Sullivan makes a mistake out of it, makes a mess out of it. He's famous for being really good with those little clusters, breaks off, but hasn't been good so far. 23 points scored, and it'll be surely a safety unless you can find an angle, which you can't. But the pink pretty much covering up the pocket. So yeah, Wilson is now on the frame. What was I going to say? Yeah, Max in 2018, Bahrain, I've just realised, Australia, first race, has a spin. Was it twice or was it once? And he loses like 5 places. It was a good recovery, but was a weird spin. Bahrain puts into the wall into qualifying. China smashes into Seb while having fresh tyres. Well, at that time, he was the favourite for the win. Because remember, that was the year... that's what I'm saying. I haven't even got to Monaco. I already have 3 mistakes from him. And I haven't even got to Baku, which I still, by the way, I can't remember who was in the front. But whoever was in the front is in the bad for me because he moved in the braking. And now Sullivan here puts Wilson into an error, and have a look at this for an opener. Brilliant. He found a plan there. No, not a Wilson. It's O'Sullivan with a brake start. Is it going to be a brake end though? Because he's not really on the colour. Spain. What happened in Spain? Yeah, I think he had a solid late in Spain. So 5 out of 6 first races. And that was the famous comment in Monaco when he was like, if I get a few more questions about my, temper or bad driving, I'll headbutt someone. You're saying that to the journalist. I mean, fair play. 4 years later, this guy is a multiple world champion. 6 years later, he's one of the greats. 5 out of 6 races, he's messed up badly. If it was him, I can't remember whether it was Ricciardo in the front in Baku. Whoever was in the front who was moving too much on the braking, O'Sullivan found a way to get into the pink, so hopefully he'll finish the job. Yeah, pretty good wild if you look back at the year now. Man, that is incredible. I will say that. Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. If you think about the performances that he's had in 2018, and I think I would have been speaking to my dad about it because he was sort of like the person that got me into F1 at that time. Both of us would have said, there's no way this guy's a champion material. Future champion material. He makes too many errors and he hasn't got the pace to cover it up. That's me about Verstappen in 2018. He makes too many errors and he hasn't got the pace to recover up. If you talk about someone like Trulli, not such famous, it's a little bit of a wild card, but it's a little bit not that famous, but boy was he quick. Boy was he quick in qualifying. Boy was he quick in the races. Trulli, the famous Trulli train where he was so good in qualifying and he was just making everyone be behind it because they couldn't get past him. Kovalainen was decent, but nowhere near good enough to that level. And then you've got the big sort of giants of Raikkonen, not putting Rosberg, Alonso, especially in his prime. Who was it? Prost, of course. Senna, of course. Fangio, of course. From what I've heard. I haven't watched him, of course. Farina to an extent. Sullivan hopefully will close this match off as he's on a roll here. 52 points scored. I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, yeah, because I haven't ended the break. He's not on the 51 break. He's on the 23 break or something. So he's not on the. Well, it won't be his highest anyway. So it don't matter. So 58 points, 59 points here, and yeah, those are the players. Those are the drivers, I should say, that were always in there. They had some scrappy starts. You look at Schumacher. You know, his first year at Benetton wasn't the best. His first race was, but his first year wasn't. And, you know, all of a sudden, 1994, 1995, he's the dominant guy. His first races with Ferrari weren't the best. And then he won 5 years in a row. But with Max, it was like, is he the next Maldonado? And I think that's the way I was looking at it, Max. Is he the next Pastor Maldonado? I mean, Pastor Maldonado is one of those... I can't even compare him to like someone in football because I don't think there's been anyone like Pastor Maldonado that just, you know, goes in there, has a brilliant race for Williams, wins the race, and then did he not finish in the points for the remaining like 10 races or something in 2012? I haven't watched it. Like, that was the first year that I had a glance at Formula 1, 2012, but I haven't obviously watched Spain at all. So yeah, but you look at Maldonado and where did he end up? Nowhere near a world championship. Like, he was barely scoring points at Lotus for his last seasons. And you look at Verstappen, and I felt like it was going to be the same. It was going to be the same for him. Just either Maldonado has a good win in there, here and there, because of his aggressive style. Because you'll have drivers that are just going to like, yeah, it's not worth it. I'll let him get in past me, and then, you know, try myself on the strategy. Yeah, makes sense. It did make sense until Verstappen is a 4-time world champion. You know, it did make sense at that time. I don't think it makes sense now, at least not to me. Brilliant from Max. I have to say, the one thing I would say about Max is mentality from him. Is that not better than any driver in the modern era? Better than Fernando. Well, better than Fernando. I would. You know what I said? Do you think he's going to make 23? He said, you know what? I'm getting a little bit tired of this because there's one thing that my friend got wrong. That he was saying that those Russell stories are gonna mean that. What are they gonna mean? That Verstappen is going to Mercedes. I think we'll have to wait and see. Like, it's way too early to say. If Red Bull, please show the match. I'm not TNT Sports, mate. I would if I could, but not on YouTube anyway, because if I show the match on YouTube, it'll get blocked within seconds, and that's not the target. But anyway, moving on. O'Sullivan has a really good chance of a total clearance and a century here. As 92 here for the break. He's got more points, but I just want to do the car and break because he's probably going to do the highest break. 97 here. It's not quite going to be the highest break actually, because 103 here, so he could reach 110, and his highest, of course, being 116. Please show the match, bro. Man, I literally said to you, like, I can't show the match. Well, I technically could. I just do the screenshot of what I'm seeing myself. I'll get blocked. Like, what's the point? I'll show the match to you for 1 second, and it's the break now, so it's the mid-frame interval, so there's no point showing me the match. I mean, what do you want me to show? I'm not on YouTube, by the way, I'm just saying. The second I have TNT logo on YouTube, you'll block me, so I ain't doing that. Response to that Merc 2027, I think we'll see what the regulations bring. And that was like, that's what I was going to say about Verstappen and Fernando. If you compare the two, you can't really, but one thing that I would say is Fernando has been way too eager to change teams, in my view. So 5-4, I haven't given the frames to Sully here. No, give the frame to Sully, I said. Yeah. Lost the chat. I got it back. Good stuff. Thank you for the heart, whoever you are. I think it's Yash, but thank you. 1 point to note in this match, Kyren hasn't got a century break today. Not really. I respect that, but I don't really agree with it because you don't really need a century to be finishing the match off. I think he's got that 75 break that he's got. He would have been more than good enough to finish the to frame off. When he's got the break of 60, and this match has been like that, when you got the break of 30, your opponent could still very much get back in the frame. Yeah, but shows he's a bit of... yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I hope Ronnie win. I agree. I want Ronnie to win. I don't think he'll win because Kyren has 2 more chances to win. Of course, 1 more than Ronnie. Let's have a look at currently. Of course, yeah, actually, I know what the odds are going to be because Kyren was the favourite before the match. So he'll be a strong favourite now. Shows he's a bit off to 100% he's off. Kyren Wilson of today's match is nowhere near of Kyren Wilson that won Shanghai Masters or Kyren Wilson that was playing yesterday against Xi Jiahui. Ronnie playing better but leaving Wilson way too many starters. Absolutely. I think Ronnie has been better at dispatching the chances, but Wilson not finishing his chances off. But the thing about Wilson is a really good point from Scott Miller. When Wilson makes a mistake, it's run out of position. And when Wilson is run out of position, he doesn't go for a 50-50 shot. He always goes for a safety. Best of how many? Best of 11. So it's first to 6. So we're going to have 2 matches, 2 frames more. Do you have Instagram, bro? I do, mate. You don't want to go on it because it literally has 10 images of Seb in 2020. Oh man, I was such a fan of him. It's hilarious. Yeah, literally, my main Instagram account has got 10 images of Sebastian Vettel in Ferrari, and I was absolutely losing it because that's when Ferrari sacked him. And I literally, within 2 months, I posted Sebastian in the best team and then Sebastian in the worst team because I was just so mad at Ferrari sacking him. Wilson highest break of tournament 78. Really? TikTok? Nah, I'm not on TikTok. I'm Gen Z, but I'm not on TikTok, mate. I've never understood it. I know people that are on TikTok, but Ronnie 15 December still playing Super Snooker. Never see anybody that age playing better. Still a top 5 player. Top 5 player? Top 5 player? You think so? Top 10, yes, but top 5. Trump is better than him. Selby is better than him. Right now we're talking. Trump, Selby. I would put players like Wakelin and Slessor ahead of him, but that's too much. His highest break is 78, but Wilson doing it every time he's in. Bloody hell, that's incredible. That is a good start. Thank you, by the way, Scott Miller. Appreciate that. Has it finished? It hasn't yet, so the match is still underway. They had a little longer break. So 2 shots there from Wilson. All of a sudden he has Sullivan in a snooker. So, and that wasn't even off the red, by the way. I'm just saying. So Sullivan in trouble here. So the reds are not really set up perfectly for him. So you'll have to roll up, but you'll have to do it carefully. And I think he's left one to the middle. Yeah, he has. It's hard for me to not call him an idiot there because he was always going to leave that ball. But Kyren not looking at it, so I definitely shouldn't call him an idiot. But if Kyren Wilson posts his ball now and he wins this frame, yeah, he's looking at it now, I will call him an idiot because there's no way that cue ball should have been anywhere near allowing him that shot to the middle. If he posts this, I'm calling him an idiot. I'm sorry, I'll call him an idiot. Yeah, he has. You can't tell me that wasn't an idiot shot. I don't know if I'm being overreactive, but you're 5-4 down. You can't afford an error. The only thing that could save Sullivan now is Wilson making another mistake, which he has, and Scott Miller has said it. Ronnie, too many mistakes. Way too many. Every single frame, apart from the one with the 116 break. Even the one that he's made. Do you like football? Yes, I do. I like football more than snooker, actually. Professional. So I like playing snooker a lot more because I'm crap at football, but I like watching professional football a lot more than professional snooker, simply because there's more matches and there's more action. So, which team? Liverpool, the best team in the world. If you call me glory hunting, I'll show you a middle finger, by the way, because I've been supporting them since Brendan Rodgers' time, and I've been supporting them in the country. There's nowhere near to plastic fans, so, and I haven't got a team in my town. And if anyone think that Ronnie can win an 8th title and beat Henry's record, good point. 2 years too long. I like to. No, I disagree with that. You're not saying that he can. I don't think he can. I think when you've got players like Sington, if you think about it, in 2025, he had everything set up for him. And Sington wasn't playing that well. It's an unpopular opinion, but Sington wasn't playing that well against him. He was crumbling against Williams in the final, and he was crumbling against Ronnie. Ronnie got a new Q again. I think Ronnie can win 8th, but has to stop daft mistakes. Easier said than done, I have to say. Do you absolutely agree? If he eliminates those mistakes, the thing about Ronnie that frustrates me, he is a better player than he was 5 years ago in so many aspects. He is so much calmer. He hasn't been in this match. He's still been going for way too many shots that he shouldn't. And his long potting has been so much better. And his safety success has improved. So why struggling not to swear here. So why on earth would you be far worse player than you were 5 years ago, while so many aspects of your game has improved? You know why? Because he always has been, not always, but he has been clinical. Clinical from Ronnie has always been the word. And he is not clinical anymore. And he leaves those opponents way too many chances. And because he's not clinical, by 2, thank you, fired. Afandi Fatima. Not sure what you mean, but by 2. Maybe you're just leaving. In that case, bye. Because he's not clinical, he's always been about break building. If you talk about clinical, Wilson just missed an easy pot and let Sullivan back in this frame. You know when I said he's an idiot for missing that one? One thing I'll say is, it could have been 200 IQ move from him, because every single time Wilson has got in this frame and has got in this match. Oh, actually, he got a 7 points. So let me give it back. So it's a foul. So he caught the black. That's a rookie error. That is from Wilson. He caught the black. That's why he missed it. He caught the black instead of the red. Ronnie said the other night he didn't realize how good he was until now. You're always going to have that. Hendry was the same. Steve Davis was the same. I haven't seen any of them, by the way. I'm just saying, I've seen their interviews, and neither of them realize how good they are until they quit. And you take practice for granted. And when you take away the practice, all of a sudden you're going to be like, well, when I was not even in my prime, when I was a professional, I would have been potting this ball every single time, but now I can't. Why? Because you're not practicing. And because that form and that talent that you had is no longer valid. The same will happen to anyone. The same is, I want to check actually before I say it, because I don't want to put myself into an idiot category. I want to say the same is happening to Selby. Mark Selby, not the... Oh, actually, I didn't know there was a city called Selby. Mark Selby, so how old is he? 42 years, okay. Yeah, I will say what I was going to say. Selby has missed his chance to become... How many titles does he have? I was on his page right now. So has he got 3 or 4? I can't see. World titles. Has he got 3 or 4? 4. Okay, 4 titles. Okay, so he hasn't missed it really. How many balls with a cushion on the table? What do you mean? Muhammad Ali, how many balls with a cushion on the table? You mean left on the table? I'll count. Or Sullivan on a break here and dispatching those brilliantly. Selby 4, yeah, I've just seen that. Selby 4 titles. Is there a Twitch channel that might be showing the video? No idea, mate. Twitch is a little bit more lenient towards them, stuff like that, like copyright. I haven't got it, mate. I've got a fair subscription on TNT, so I haven't got it. Ronnie could make this 5-5. You bloody should do. If he doesn't make this 5-5, he's an idiot. I'll say it again. 5-5, yes, yeah, Fatima, yeah, I would expect it. He's basically, the situation on the table is, he is 19 points ahead. He's got 3 really easy raids, which he should get with the black. And then he will have 5 raids remaining. He's asking, oh yeah, sorry, on the cushion, apologies. My bad, idiot. None, that's my point. Hey, you missed a few messages. Oh yeah, I actually have. Just saw the Kyren Wills. Just saw the. I have to say, I am getting a bit arrogant, and I am very thankful for all your support here on this video, because it's the first time ever I had so many chats, and I have been missing some of the chat. That's actually hilarious to me. He has 4 right. Yeah, thank you. You actually said that way before I did. How many balls with the cushion on the table? None. So it's all in open play, but 5 of them are really close to each other. So as I'm talking now, I'm missing the score here. 54 points, so 35 ahead with 1 more red to play. He's got a really nice angle to try and develop the other 5. Apparently, I heard Ronnie will be playing more tournaments this season because he seems to have got his enthusiasm for the game back. I bloody hope so. One thing I'll say about Ronnie is he gets his enthusiasm back until he starts losing. Brilliant split, by the way, but wrong side of the blue once more. Enthusiasm for Ronnie here because I'm pretty sure it's £500,000 on the bloody pot. So anyone, you know, would be up for it. I mean, if I had anything of a chance, I'd be there just for the first round to get 10,000. I can't see Ronnie getting his 8th title, but thank you, by the way, Yash. I think I've answered your one. Andrew, I can't see Ronnie getting his 8th title, but I would say Ronnie's 7 has come against much greater opposition. Absolutely great point. And that is why. Scott Miller says 5-5 coming up. Absolutely. 61 points. Yeah, should be in breeze here. He's got next one is next one is frame point. Hendry was playing. He was one of his own. He was one of Hawkins, by the way, 4-all. Hendry was one of his own, and no one could compete to him. Sullivan, some of the stages of his career, no one could compete to him, and some stages, a lot of people could. That's why Selby won that title against him in 2014. If that was Hendry, he doesn't win that. He doesn't win that to me. Kick-ass Ronnie. I hope so, mate. If Ronnie wins this, it will be another brilliant comeback, and I'm all for it. Ronnie steals the match, I have a feeling. Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. I'll have them crossed on the feet, but I can't do that. Decider, wow, exactly Muhammad Ali. I mean, could that be history repeating itself from yesterday's match? You know. He's against a much better opponent, and it's not 5-2, it's 5-3. But still, could he be doing it once more? Ronnie could, playing good. He's up for the challenge, and if he does, he will become immortal. If he wins, he's already immortal because of the way he's been. The character he is, he's perfect for the shoes. You couldn't have had a better character than Ronnie. He's a Messi. He's a Messi without Ronaldo to me. You know, I never thought about it, but he's a Messi without Ronaldo because he's got so much talent. I'm not gonna say he was doing all the hard work because he has talked too much. Thank you. I am talking too much. Will Ronnie win this match? I just saw the postcard. I can't see the future. Odds will be saying yes. Hopefully, I want him to win this, please. Haju. So do I, man. So do I. He's got a 3rd century on the board just now, putting the brown in a brilliant way. You know, 105 could make this highest break of the match for him. Yeah, talk too much. I really like this comment from Young Pugyan. I talk too much. I do. I just can't help myself. Hendry should have had 8 really. Big upset when Ebden beat him. You see, Andrew, you are better than me at this because I've got no clue. I've got my my relatives that are into snooker telling me that Peter Ebden was one of the most dangerous players in the world on his day. But there wasn't enough. You know when you say 5-0 Ronnie, highest break here? No, what do you mean? Highest break is 118. Anyway, I don't know what's gone on there, but ignore the start. It's bottom right hand corner. Highest break for Sullivan is 118. I think I've forgot to press the button off and break. Is Ronnie in touch? He is. He is in the last 2 frames. When was the last time Ronnie won 4-7? I think it was English Open 2018 against Alan Taylor. Not sure, but could be true. Another century. Yes, indeed. 3rd one of the match, I think. Yeah. 3rd one of the match. Talk too much. Isn't that the point? Thank you, Kisani Michael, but I wasn't going to say it because that just sounds arrogant, but thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I thought that was the point. You know, surely if I talk too much, you just switch it off and then I don't talk at all. No daft mistakes now, Ronnie last frame. Couldn't have said it better. There will be one mistake. 100% there will be, because it's a decider and it's pressure. But who's going to make it? Kyren or Ronnie? Playing decider now, indeed. Come on, Ronnie, decider. Oh, it's all going off now. Oh, can you take my name? And do what? Can you take my name? What? Put it in my passport? I can't. I like my name more. It's the name you can't pronounce in the UK, but I really like my name more. Can you take my name? What do you mean by that? You probably mean something that I don't understand. Thanks for sharing the updates. Also, please, if someone shares the live link to see the frame. Yeah, I ain't gonna delete. Try to pronounce my name. Okay. I am not English, so I'll try and do it in your accent. I actually quite like doing this thing. Modnuman is what I'd say. Modnuman. So I tried it. There you go. You can let me know if I'm an idiot. I've got the next one is Krishna Kumar Varadajulu. There you go. Krishna Kumar Varadajulu. There you go. I'm not sure if I got that one right. It's Muhammad Numan. Oh, is it? So Mothi shorted for Muhammad. You see, that's an indication. You two people have said that. Idiot. I'm from Kashmir. Is that in India? My geography knowledge is actually not bad. Kashmir. Is that in India? Or... yeah, India and Kashmir, yeah. Yeah. It is in India. Go Ronnie, says Yuri Cristianto, sorry, apologies. Ronnie, world best player, absolutely agree. Rashid Ali. Motnuman, I am from Kashmir. I read that one, Mohammed. Galib Butt says it's Mohammed Naman, and Luchman Shans is no, it's Mohammed Naman. So two people telling me Kashmir is Pakistan. You see, this is where I have gone. I've purposely Googled this, and it is the northernmost geographical region of the Indian subcontinent. That's what it says on there. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Luzman, I'll leave it at that. What's happening on the table? What's happening is we just got into the frame 11. Wilson has a chance here. And he's got it. He's got the pot. What a timing. What a question that was. From DMH. Well, the thing that is happening on the table here is Kyren Wilson having an early chance. Yeah, Kashmir, one pot is with Pakistan and the other pot is with India. Thank you very much. I wasn't going to say Gully, but I thought, because I've seen the news reports, that is sort of the area that is, how would you say, the military area, so it's a really serious thing. Ronnie break off Paul, you know, that is actually a good point off. I've missed that, and that's non-professional. Read the chat when the break is in, but when the decider starts, you should be paying more attention. Thank you, Scott Miller. That's a mistake there, and thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah. So he didn't specify which part of Kashmir he was, so Mohammed, say Babar Azam is the king. You know what? I've been on the YouTube as a viewer for long enough. I will Google that first, and then maybe I'll say it. But I won't say it now because Wilson is on potentially a break, but he makes it miss. He misses a really tough... It's a popular nickname for the Pakistani cricketer Babar Azam. Okay, so I can say it then. So it's not political or something. I'm not controversial. I've seen it, Scott Miller. I've said it. He's missed a really interesting red off the cushion. It wasn't an easy one, and he's played it with a lot of power. The good news for Wilson camp is he hasn't really given Ronnie anything. So I will say Babar Azam is the king. I will say it's fine. He's missed, he's left Ronnie nothing. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Ronnie hasn't got anything, but I say he hasn't got anything. He's got himself a really nice, what do you say, safety shot. Wilson misses, Ronnie hits. He does, but didn't really get anywhere with it. So good safety, yeah, really good safety. I will that, because you know when you know it's a good safety, there's a reason for him to ask you to say it. But say King Collie. Michael Hodinot says, whoever wins this deciding frame will win the 500k on Sunday. You would think maybe only Neil Robertson could stop things, in any opinion. Yes, but I think you're going from the paper. I would say from what I've seen, Robertson will be the least favourite for me. Because he hasn't had a brilliant campaign in Saudi so far. As Wilson gets... I mean, I don't know what to say. That's not even jammy. And in the last frame, in the decider, what a snooker that is. What a luck from Wilson. Yeah, O'Sullivan's gone all in. O'Sullivan's gone all in, and he's probably... Well, I was going to say he's lost his frame, but he hasn't yet. I won't go controversy. Wait me finish on Neil... Yeah, so I don't think Neil Robertson won this one. Still could. He's semi-final. Hawkins and Wakelin are 4-all now. But I don't think Robertson wins this one. What do you think who will win? I think the winner of this pair will be the favourite on paper. For me, Elliot Slessor and... what's his name? Chris Wakelin will be the favourites if they get through their semi-finals. That's for me. That's for me. There's a reason for him to ask you to say, yeah, I've seen it's a Pakistani cricket player. Good safety, yeah, just one chance. Ronnie clears up. Not been the story of this match, mate. You know, Ali says that. Not really been the story of this match. Look at the luck Wilson got. Yeah, I covered it, man. Scott Miller, you seem to be on the track with me. You seem to be watching it, so... Yeah, man. How many points can he get? No, bro, I'm asking who will win this frame. Well, oh yeah, sorry. Good question. I'd say Ronnie, simply because Wilson had an early chance. He got 3 points out of it. Now he has a chance, and he seems to be stuck for it, thinking about which colour to put. I'll think Ronnie, and because I want Ronnie to win. Adam Ninja says what's happening right now. Basically, black is covered up. 3 points to love advantage Wilson. He has a red covered all over the pocket, so it's an easy pot, but it's going to be complicated for him to get anywhere past that. Where can I watch TNT Sports 3? Let's go. Ronnie says John Murray. Absolutely. I think I missed a couple. Yeah, I answered Syed, Bilal, rooting for Ronnie. So do I. Yeah, we all want Ronnie to win. Disrespectful to Wilson fans. I'm not sure whether there's going to be any of them. But yes, I am. You know, I want to watch free. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? I haven't got a link. When I was in my country, I could watch stuff like that free. There's no point hiding. There were streams. I'm not in that country now. UK is a lot stricter, so you have to pay to watch. If you can watch, send us link. Ask someone else, mate. I haven't got one. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so it's actually a good question who's going to win this frame, because we can see 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes Wilson is taking the shot. So it's a sign for me that he's probably just going to settle for 1 point. Let's see. He's ready to take it on. Yeah. No, actually, with the reaction here, he's probably gone for the pink to the middle. Hope he misses. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to say, but I do hope that. I do hope that. He wasn't going to miss that one, though. It was the easiest one of the lot. Like, probably the easiest pot of the match. But now is the hot shot, and the pink is missed. Pink is missed. Where's the pink ending up? Is it into play? No, it's not. He's missed it, and... So, what can Sullivan do here? 4 points only from Wilson. Wow, so he hasn't really got an easy start here, O'Sullivan. Let's see. Boing. Hope he misses. Kyren is a great player. He's playing like a prime Henry from the last 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, I haven't watched it, so I can't say that. Pressure really getting to Wilson. Ronnie. Yeah. One thing I would say, Michael, 2 comments from you, 2 spots on. Ronnie doesn't care about the pressure. You don't care about pressure for the last sort of God knows how many years. Wilson does. And it's a 1 point that you can get to Wilson. Does Ronnie have a chance to? Bloody has more of a chance here, mate. It'll be a waste if he doesn't get ahead here. Especially with the Wilson only having 4 points on the board. He's got a nice red. He's got a green here. And then, you know, he'll equal the points tally. No, he'll equal the points tally of Wilson already. Does Ronnie have a chance to... seeing that? Ronnie is looking for his vengeance, Shanghai. He is, but I think he's looking for money, mate. 500,000 is a little bit less than I think he would have earned in Shanghai. Is Ronnie get a chance? Yeah, certainly does. Come on, Ronnie. I absolutely agree. One red away, Ronnie. Yeah, come on, Ronnie. Yeah, everyone's saying, come on, Ronnie. I'll just say, you know what? Because I'm one of you, I'll just put, come on, Ronnie, myself. Just because I can. I want Ronnie to win. Even if he loses to Wakelin, I just want Ronnie to win. Or Barry. Yeah, Wakelin is 5-4 up. So he's one frame away, Wakelin, from the semi-finals. Sullivan's here, so has 11 points. So I think in the decider, it will be scrappy, and I think every single point is going to be really important. Can he make a break as per the balls on the table? No. Really simple answer, no. The black is covered by 3 reds. The pink is covered by 2 of the reds. 1 of the reds, I should say. So you have to be playing from the blue. And it's not straightforward. But I think it's all about grinding points. If I was a Sullivan, and of course he doesn't need a coach, he's the best one in the world, but if I was a Sullivan's coach, I would be saying, in this frame, get yourself about 40 points and just try and make it as awkward as possible for Wilson, because he will make mistakes. He will win the tournament, mark my words, lads. Who? Ronnie. Mate, I'm here for it. I haven't seen Ronnie win since ages ago, but he hasn't put himself in a nice position here. I would just wait until we get over the line. Yeah. So, by the way, I don't think they're going to broadcast it though, because I don't think the Wakelin match is broadcasted. But if oh, have a look at this from Ronnie. What a pot that is, under pressure. Talk about pressure. He don't give a damn about pressure. Brilliant from Ronnie, and he screwed up perfectly onto the blue. Has got the right angle, or has he? What on earth was that? He had sort of a perfect position on the blue, and then he just messed up it badly on the red. I mean, what on earth is that? He left himself with a really hard red on. I mean, unless he thinks he can pot this one easily, he can barely reach there. It's not an easy shot that for Ronnie. Imagine he gets another century. Not in the position like this, mate. If he gets a century in this position, it will be the most Ronnie thing ever, but I don't think he does. He will win the tournament. Yeah, I've seen that. You don't know Ronnie, he will make the break. Hopefully, mate. I don't know the Ronnie, I will say that. Like, only Ronnie knows himself. And what a pot that is. Under pressure. Where's the cue ball? In a crap position. And he hasn't got really any more reds to land in, apart from those on top of the black. He'll make it. Bloody hope so, mate. As I said, one of those things that when I'm wrong, I'll be one of the first people to say, yes, I was wrong, come on, because I want Ronnie to win. So, but from the purely expert point of view, which I'm not, but from the neutral point of view, he has got still a lot to do. So Ronnie here decides to go for the lowest of the reds, which is a sign to me that he can probably free the black up, which then puts the century in the contention actually, but I am actually talking way too soon, I've just realised. Yeah, so he couldn't free the black up. He got for the blue, landed up the right angle, and now has a tough job ahead of him. 35 points, plays 4. Yes, Ronnie, goal. Exactly. Ronnie playing so bravely, he is. What's happening with the stream? Why am I getting a little loading? Don't be doing that. Let me know if you get any buffering or stuff like that. Hopefully not. Internet should be doing the handling. Haha, come on, Ronnie. Umar, you are the one that said about the century. If he makes a century here, 41 points, I will absolutely love it. Wilson will be kicking himself, but I will absolutely love it. How Watch Live. What a lovely name that is. I'm not even going to call it out. How Watch Live, brilliant. Anyway, TNT Sports 3. He's on the red. He is. He's on the blue now, to me. 41 points for me. Looking to make that 46, and he did, but I don't think he landed on the red. Yeah, you can see his reaction there. You know from Ronnie's face where he hasn't got them. What's the position? 46 points ahead. Has got incredibly tough red to cut. He's smiling, which is a bad sign for me because I don't like when he's smiling, because that's a sign that he's going to play a silly shot. 46 to 4. with not quite sure how many reds, 5 reds remaining, I think. Bro, you doing commenting good? Thank you, appreciate that. Umar Mughal, getting all the all the praise here. Can you take my name? Nafai Khan. My name is Yaya. I would have never got that. So Ronnie, in the end, he's gone for a little both. He split the reds up, sort of gone for the shot, but make sure that the cue ball landed behind the bulk area. So 46 plays 4 with, once again, Salam Alaikum. Yeah, Alaikum Assalam. It's about as much as I know. So 67 on the table, 42 is the gap. Good safety. It is a good safety. Especially if you bear in mind he still tried to pot it. You're doing great, mate. Abbas, Ahmad Abbas Bati. Thank you, mate. Love it. Do you play snooker? I do, funnily enough. It's one of the sports that I commentate on, that I actually play. Terrible shot on the blue. It was a terrible shot on the blue. What's Wilson doing here? Rolling up to the black cushion, so doing the same thing there. So, the right thing. What's your highest break? Mate, you don't want to know. I did a 44 break, and that was the biggest fluke of all time. What's your highest break in snooker? Thank you, Ahmad Abbas. You just doubled that. 44. How high your break was? Yeah, so 44. And I did that twice, I think. And that was the highest fluke of all time. Mine is 53, mate. I hope... Mine is 138. Bloody hell. I don't quite believe that, I have to say. My highest is 1. Yeah, I believe that one. 138. I don't believe that. You know, I'm doing a Seb from Austria 2017 when they showed him his Bottas reaction time. 108, have video. 108 I will believe. But I will believe. Because, like, I've been in there, I know how it feels. It would have been a perfect, fair play, by the way. If it's... Oh, Wilson. Taking all or nothing shots. Screwing back for the blue, and he has left Sullivan a little rest shot there. It's a really tough cut, but if he can get the cue ball out of the danger area, we could be in here for a winner. Hi from Wales, Pricey, great comments. Paul Price, appreciate that, thank you very much. Adam Ninja, yes, 16 and on for a 147 at that time. Stuart Smith, bloody hell, mate. Oh yeah, I got you. I thought you were saying 16 years of age, on for a 7 at the top, mate. Every single time, everyone's from Pakistan. I was going to say that. I thought it would be racist, so I didn't say that. Ronnie will get it, inshallah. Tell my name, please. Gabar Singh is my attempt. I've done 1,147. Yeah, I definitely believe that. Guys, how much is a good break in club level? Sarab Juneja is a good question. No idea. Is an honest answer. No idea. I say 20, 25. 50, 60 any day if balls are on the top table free. Really? Side below. I know I'm crap, but am I that crap? Ronnie has got a red, but he's missed a brown. If I wasn't streaming, I'd swear. I am streaming, so I'm not going to swear. 35, 40, minus 63 with a clearance with 5 reds. Can Wilson pop this one? He can. I am about to swear now, guys. I am about to swear. Where's he landing though? Which colour is he landing? Could be important. Can't mess around too much. Is he landed on the colour at all? He's landed on the green barely, man. Running behind. All he had to do is snooker him. This is what I'm saying about Ronnie. He hasn't got the patience. Your favourite player, bro? Ronnie or Sullivan by a mile. Sure, he said, but what's the table geography like? What do you mean? Ahmad, indeed. I think Wilson is on his reds. He needs high value colours here, Wilson. Well, he doesn't really, but he can't be playing all of them on the yellow. So he needs to be doing the break. Let me just have a look at something. Okay, I had a look. How are the balls sitting? Balls are sitting really well if you are with an angle. So Wilson, a little update here. I'm in no man's land, so a little update. Wilson has spotted the brown, so he's got himself points on the board, which is important. He has snookered himself on the red though. So 38 points behind, 51 on the table. Looking good for O'Sullivan, but none of the balls are really in too much trouble. Wilson stuck at himself. Yes, he has. How many reds left? 3, with 38 points behind in Sullivan's favour. He's going for the shot around it. Played it well. Didn't want to catch the yellow though. Oh god, this is the thing now. Scott Miller, let me know, mate. Wilson has left O'Sullivan with a long pot. I can see in his face he's going to attempt it, and I don't want him to, man. It's not the time to be attempting those sort of shots. He will attempt it 100%. Ronnie will win, hope so. Ahmad Abbas, hopefully. What's the table like at the moment? Basically, O'Sullivan now has asked to clear the white. He's got a decent long pot opportunity. Who do you prefer, Ronnie or Hendry? I haven't watched Hendry, mate. Mohammed Adnan, so I can't say anything. Ronnie for me, 100%. I haven't watched Hendry, mate. So, one good pot. Come on. No, mate, don't be saying that. Don't be saying that. Because one good bloody miss, and all of a sudden is Wilson on the wheel, and the position is good enough for him to win that. Ronnie will go for that red side below. Bloody hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't, inshallah. I know what that means now. Ronnie pot it. Not yet. He's still asking for the white to be cleared. And he's clearly going to go for it. And I can see him missing it. I mean, you can tell by the silence that he's absolutely gone and done it. He is the best player of all time, Ronnie O'Sullivan. And he's only gone and done it. Ladies and gentlemen, he is one ball away from winning this frame and winning the match and going to the semi-finals here in pots it. Brilliant, Scott Miller. You said it, fair play. You said it. I said he was going to bottle it. He didn't. He has now got himself comfortably ahead, and now Wilson needs snookers. Brilliant. You can tell by the excitement of my voice. Brilliant. I am very happy for Ronnie. If he pots this red, I will applaud it. I think he bloody missed it. I nearly swore again. He has missed it. I'm not sure if he caught the bang there, but I am fuming that. He had one job there. He's still not over the line. He is. Yeah, high semi-final. Not quite, mate. For Hick, Ronnie's proved you wrong. He has, but he hasn't. Because he bloody missed the red. And it's still only one snooker for Wilson. And with the balls positioned like they are, he needs to pot the red from another red, so he needs to make it a plant, a really long plant. Wow, took an aggressive there, played it off the cushion. Fair play, it wasn't as easy as it would seem. Okay now, so let's do the maths. Man, I want this vengeance at any cost. Why Ronnie says Scott Miller? Yeah. Inshallah, Ronnie's going to win. Well, the thing here is, he needs a snooker. But we've seen snookers pulled away. I've seen snookers pulled away so many times. Why rocking? Fucking why? I mean, if I wasn't streaming, if I wasn't streaming on YouTube and it was all the, ban from the swearing, I would swear 100%. Because I have to agree, I've got nothing in me. Like, let's just wait and see what happens. So he needs one snooker, Wilson. No on TV, but this commentary is intense. It is. You know why? Because I want Ronnie to win. That's why it's intense. Because I will be banging the table when he wins. No, not when he wins, because I will be just clapping my hands and saying, come on. But when he loses, I will be clapping, banging the table or something. But we could be for an end here, as Wilson put the ball over the pocket. And you can see in the background, crowd are absolutely cheering this one. Hassan, I don't think you'll be watching this, because I think O'Sullivan, if he just does the smart thing, no mess around, Ronnie, he should be winning this one comfortably. He does. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone, Ronnie has won this frame and won this match. You can see applause, you can see my reaction, you can see I'm over the moon. It is now Kyren Wilson losing 3 frames in a row, and it is Ronnie O'Sullivan winning this frame in style. Actually, cheers, well done, yay. You're going to be a big YouTuber, take it from me. I'm Mohammed Adnan. We're here for a start, and we'll see what happens. Thanks, mate, for updating. Ahmad Abdas. My pleasure, my friend. Come on, Ronnie, absolutely agree. He missed the green. I ain't going to give a fuck about it, because Ronnie is the GOAT, and he's indeed. 44 points is the gap. Wilson shakes his hand. Ronnie is through to the semi-final. Saidallah says, take care, mate. You too, mate. Come on, Ronnie. Yes, Ronnie, my love. We've done it. Semi-final. Here we come. Bro, you're great. Thank you. Wilson is gutted. He will be. He will be. I will be gutted if I lost the opportunity of winning £500,000. We all subscribe you, mate. Legends. Thank you, mate, again. Come on, Ronnie. A lot of love. Revenge taking the better way. Thank you very much for you, though. The previous highest was on the final, was 100 people. I've seen 365 people watching, so that is incredible. Thank you very much, everyone. It is a big occasion. It is the best of all time. It is Ronnie Sullivan. I will give it to him. I haven't done the match 1 animation yet, so that will be in the future. But as you can see, frame 1-5, frame 1-6 for Ronnie. He's done it. The comeback is complete. See you next match. 100%. Have a good day ahead. 100%, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the support. 500,000 to winner. All the support. Thank you very much. Love this stream. Go and subscribe. Mate, lovely stuff. We'll be back for the semi-final. 100%. Lots more to come. Once again, couldn't say enough thank you for all of you streaming semis. 100%. 100%. 100%. I'll just see what TNT broadcast this thing, because I would do the final frame of the weight limit match, but they're not going to show it, so there's no point in me just sitting here reacting to the points. See you in semis. Ronnie 165. See you in semis. Love you, bro. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll end it there on a high. Thank you, everyone, once again. And we'll be back in the semis. One last question, Ronaldo or Messi? It's a long question, mate. Leave it in the next one. I haven't got an answer. But if I was to give one, Ronaldo. Take care, mate. But by the way, Mohammed, I will say both. Only if I have to say like one of them. Good stream, mate. Scott Muller, legend you are. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It is the last one. Bye all. And we'll see you in the semis. No, bro, it's Messi. Messi for the talent, Ronaldo for the hard work. It's the last phrase from me. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the semis.